Inside Stone's Gambling Hall in Sacramento, California, you'll find Sammy's Restaurant and Bar. Recognized for its innovative, healthy global cuisine, Sammy's offers menu selections made with local, organic ingredients. Indulgent options like truffle fries, duck tacos, artisan wood-fired pizzas, fresh salads, and more, along with an eclectic selection of craft beers and classic handcrafted cocktails. Plus, with 40 big screen TVs, Sammy's is also the perfect place to catch your favorite game. Satisfy your craving anytime, 24/7, tableside or in the dining room at Sammy's Restaurant and Bar at Stone's Gambling Hall.
Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to Stone's Live. We are coming live here from Stone's Gambling Hall just outside of Sacramento, California. I'm Michael LONCAR. Alongside me,
oh wow, Brent Harrington.
Brent Harrington. And we are here at the final table of the Stone's last Sunday of the month. $300 buy-in, 30K. There's 150 players to start, and we are down to the final 9.
The final 9.
Yes.
Pretty exciting. How much up top, do you know?
So we've got $10,220 plus a seat to next Sunday's tournament up top. Second. Sunday
Not too
night
bad
Stones.
for a little Sunday tournament.
Definitely.
10K?
Definitely. Yes.
Cool 10K.
So,
all
right,
we got?
So we've got a very, very talented final table here tonight. Take a look here at the remaining players in order. And
I recognize some of the names.
yes, looks like in
Sean,
seat 1, good buddy of mine, Mr. Sean Drake, with with over $1.2 million in tournament cashes over his lifetime, with his biggest one being a third place at the 2014 WSOP.
I'm not sure.
I always forget if it was the Monster Sack or the Millionaire Maker, but it took third place for $620,000. That was his biggest score. So
not bad.
Super, super tournament crusher. And in seat 2, another good friend of mine, Mike Postel, also the creator of the Dream Seat, for those of you that tuned in last week. And Mike also has $500,000 in tournament scores. Awesome guy.
Yeah, so far pretty strong lineup.
Yes, yeah,
1
really.
and 2, those guys are right next to each other
Yeah.
too. So.
Super crushers in seat 1 and 2. In seat number 3, I don't know how to pronounce this.
Juan?
We'll go with Huan.
Juan, maybe? I don't know, yeah.
We apologize,
Juan.
but congratulations on coming here to the final table with a very nice, healthy stack, $409,000.
500K. Not too bad.
Yeah. Seat number 4,
Lock.
Lock.
Let's just go with Lock.
Lock.
Loke, maybe?
Okay.
Tone Loke?
Yes. He is coming in with $756,000. He is our commanding chip leader.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty huge.
Really nice chip stack. And in seat 5, we have his original name here shown as Cliff, and I guess he is now going to be known as Steamed Milk. I don't know where that. I don't know what
that's just an upgrade, I think, from Cliff.
Is that an upgrade?
No, I mean Cliff is a fine name, but Steamed Milk.
Steamed Milk
is a much better name, I think.
I like it. So he's coming in with a shorter stack, $180,000. In fact, he is the short stack at $180,000. And in seat 6, we have Shane.
Shane, we're back to names that aren't
back
food.
to normal names.
Yeah, that's Shane.
He's coming in with $189,000. And there's actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3 players all with $10,000 of each other to start this final table as the short stacks. Basically, a 3-way tie for the short stack from Mikey P in seat 2 and seats 5 and 6. And in seat 7, we've got Jimmy Z.
Jimmy Z.
They're here at Stones, and he's coming in with $200,000.
What is that on the blinds? Where are we at?
I believe the blinds are going to be
12,000. 6,000.
Yeah,
6,000,
12,000.
Not too bad.
Yeah. Seat 8.
Some chips to play with. Who
is
Jashti.
Jashti. Gosh, we are the worst. We should have got these clarifications before we started. We apologize, folks. Another super solid tournament crusher. $497,000 in tournament wins over his lifetime. Lots of big results. His biggest score coming with a $116,000 score. So yeah, we've got a locked and loaded final table here. Lots of talent, lots of money to their winnings. And to finalize here the final table, seat number 9, Pip.
Pip. I feel like in order to say Pip, you have to say Pip.
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 I love it. All right, so yeah, we've got a really locked and loaded final table here. Lots of good players. As always, Stones has a really nice tournament structure, so
yeah,
we're gonna still have lots of post-flop play. Should be a good one.
What's up, Wapra? Yeah, it should be exciting. Who is this? Lock, whatever we decide on that, has 756 of 3 million chips in play with 9 left. So that's not too bad.
Yeah, he's got
with 9 left.
25% of the chips left in play. And we will start off the action now. Couple of folds. Folds to Mikey.
Oh, this looks like I don't know. He's kind of short, though. He's got, what, like 15 bigs?
He's got around 15 bigs with the suited 9-7.
You can tell he kind of wants to play that hand from that position, too.
Yeah, Mike is a very aggressive player.
I can't see him limping. Hey, what's up, Wapra? Good to see him. Are you saying from Vegas? Is that where you're at? In Vegas? Or somebody on the stream is from Vegas? Mike, what is Mike? Oh, I'm just going nothing. All right. So Mike raised, I think, yes.
Yes, Mike raised 28,000. Big blinds at 12.
Oh, that's not what you want to see when you raise with 9-7 of hearts. Shoved ace king.
Yeah, he just happened to run into.
Let's see. Steamed is
Steamed Milks.
Mike has him covered by a little bit, but I can't see Mike calling this.
Yeah, and I really like this play. I don't really think there's really anything else with the stack size that you can do here. I think ace king.
This is exactly why you hesitate when you were like, do I want to raise this in this spot?
Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to play this. You've got 15 big blinds on the button. It's already been open raised. You've got ace king offsuit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Super strong pre-flop hand.
When you have like, really what, 17 bigs or something like that where he's at?
Yeah, he's got 15 bigs.
That's a good 3-bet shove size.
Exactly. Perfect size in there. So there we go. There's our first hand of the night.
It's actually something oddly comfortable about having 15 big blinds.
Yes, there is.
Because you really don't have to think about too much.
No, and especially here at the final table, you've got a couple other short stacks. You can kind of just sit back and, yeah, definitely lots of hands like ace king just become 3-bet shoving hands with that stack. It's very simple.
Especially, I mean, not only does Mike short, you have the same stack size as him, but also, if I'm guessing, just based off watching these guys play previously, I think Mike's going to open a decent amount of hands that are well behind ace king offsuit.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got a lot of just right there. He's got.
I think it's like the cutoff, right? Was he raising for the cut? Or
he was actually hijack.
Hijack. Okay. Yeah, he's pretty late position. If it folds to you at 9-7 of hearts, I think Mike is going to play that 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, he's got a lot of hands. He's going to raise fold there. And now it's on.
Now Mikey
just looking down at ace 10 offsuit, shoves all in for 151,000.
13-ish bigs or something.
Yeah, about 13 bigs.
Shane's kind of short. I feel like that's a tough call for him. Ace 8. I don't think he's going to call that. There. Looks like it's going to get through.
Very standard shove by Mikey, and he takes it down.
And Mike gets all his chips back.
That's right.
From the previous.
Easy peasy.
This is like 4 guys under 20 bigs. Not too bad. Lock. I kind of want to call him Loke, like really, like tone Loke. I don't know. But that is, I mean, whatever. It might be Loke. It could be Lock. It's probably neither, or maybe. I'm not sure.
We'll go with Loke.
Loke, yeah. Loke makes him sound like more of a boss.
It does sound
killing
like
it right now with like 800,000, almost 800,000 chips of 3 million in play, with 9 left. How convenient is that? Exactly 150 players.
Yeah,
it's a pretty great tournament,
nice,
by the way.
Number,
if you've never played the last Sunday, it's a 300 buy-in now for 30K guarantee.
Yep.
Pretty solid. I mean, and you start at 10. It's what 10:30 right now.
Yep.
So you probably end at like 1 to 2 if you win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Make 10K.
Yeah, not bad.
And that's too shabby.
Yeah, it's a nice hourly, huh?
Let's see.
Thank you everybody for joining us in the chat as always. Providing us with entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. It's so much fun to read the chat. It's almost like you forget you have to say things.
Exactly, I know, right?
Oh, hey, I'm here. I'm not just at home watching on Twitch with you guys.
And it's folded around to Steam Milk, who is contemplating a raise there from the cutoff with ace-8.
I think that's a shove-ish. It's like maybe. That's kind of borderline, right? Ace-8 offsuit with 12 bigs.
I would definitely...
This, I think, is... This is probably a fold.
Yeah.
Normally.
Yeah, this is definitely...
But
it's a
if
very,
you're shoving
very
it from the button, I don't... It's maybe too many blinds to risk for that, but it worked.
It worked. Aggression wins in this game lots of times.
Yeah, chat does get funny, Gus. Gus de Nuts. The names are funny too, like Gus de Nuts. I like
Gus
saying
de
that.
Nuts.
Gus de Nuts.
I like it.
Guess that's 9. Not to take anything away from the real Guts the Nuts without the number, I guess. But so far we've seen, what, like 3 hands? And we've had 3 shoves.
Yeah.
So, no calls yet, but that's I think that's what will happen with 4 guys under 20 bigs.
Yep. Yeah, in fact, our 3 shortest stacks, all 3 of them took turns shoving on each one of those first 3 hands.
And they all got them through. Pretty exciting. What do you think of the plaques?
I freaking love the plaques.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, I think like the plaques are very polarizing.
Yeah.
Like some people love them, and some people are like, why do they
They're
exist?
so G. They're so awesome. So for those of you just tuning in, this is the final table of the Stones Live tournament. We're talking about the placards, as you can see right there.
Yeah, the rectangle.
Low.
What are those? Like, what are?
They're 25,000 chip denominations.
Okay.
They're the biggest chip denomination, I believe.
Okay.
And
no, I mean probably.
And they are boss.
Yeah. It's
for
like
me,
some James Bond, Casino Royale
I always think
stuff.
of James Bond.
Yeah.
Always think
it
of James
definitely
Bond.
has a very like posh kind of feel to it, I think. So it definitely adds to the Stones vibe.
Yep.
Because Stones is a nice place. It's,
the only time I've actually played with plaques was over in Sweden.
Oh, there you go. So it has that European kind of feel.
The plaques,
Yeah.
and it was just so boss.
Oh, just in a cash game too. Yeah, nice. Jimmy Z's raising the button, Jack 9 offsuit. It's a perfectly reasonable raise.
So the blinds are now up. I believe the blinds just went up to 8,000, 16,000.
Oh, right, yeah.
And Jimmy Z is raising the button to 2.5 times the big blind to 40K.
With like, wow, yeah, he doesn't have that a ton behind. Is that 209K what he has behind after the raise?
Yes,
I think so.
I believe so. So he's raised to 40. He's got 209,000 back after making that raise. It's on Jashti, who's a very experienced tournament player, very aggressive, and looks like he might be thinking about making a move here. In fact, he is. He's saying, "I'm gonna abuse."
That's a pretty aggro shot. I like that though. I guess both of them have sizes like.
I mean, there's definitely there are definitely some good players out there that really just absolutely abuse button raise, wide button raises.
Right.
And as shown right there, how often can the button really call?
Especially when Jimmy only has 200. Well, after that, he only has 200 left. So he's got him in a weird spot. They're both, Jashti has like 400K, so he's got him covered. He can afford to shoot, and maybe he doesn't hate getting called with a hand like 8-7.
Yeah, that's a very, very aggressive shove right there. He had both players covered, barely had the big blind cover there, but wanted to take the risk and took down. But with the blinds and antes, 60, 70,000? It's a big pickup.
Yeah, definitely big, especially it'll probably make anyone think twice about opening his button too.
Exactly.
Or opening into either of his blinds from the small blind.
He might get paid now if he actually has a big hand next time in that same situation.
Looks like the end of the world is happening. In the camera there. Somebody bumped the camera or it got moved or something. There was not an earthquake here 30 minutes ago. Oh, that's funny. I wonder if it was because I heard the sound of the wheel. Does the wheel have that much effect on the camera? That's kind of nuts if it does. Pretty awesome. Let's see. So far, Loke is just chilling. I mean, it's not like he's really got a hand to play,
chilling.
but I imagine he's probably content with hanging out and letting these shorter stacks get rid.
I said the blinds were 8,000, 16,000, so the blinds are still 6,000, 12,000, I believe.
Oh, okay, so...
Nope, the small blind is 8 there. Okay, so we are at 8,000, 16,000.
816.
And Jashti is...
Perfectly good. Oh, that seems like a huge raise. What is that, 100K?
Looks like Jasti's basically.
five?
Yep. So Jasti's raising to 100K, which is essentially saying I'm all in, and I'm gonna call anybody's all in here.
What an interesting spot. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you bet 100K into like 3. It's kind of like that raise only serves one purpose, right?
Yeah.
So you might as well shove almost.
Yeah.
I guess you can fold if somebody has the desire to shove over you. I suppose you can fold and hate it.
I was gonna say, I mean, if like the small blind there shoves, I mean, I guess he's gonna call. I guess he's saying I'm just gonna call off.
Yeah.
But you gotta obviously realize you're gonna be smashed.
It was
when you're
close.
getting
It was
shoved
close
back
though too. Ace-8 offsuit. They both had the same hand. So.
Yep. Oh, that'd been awesome if the small blind would have shipped back, right?
Yeah, and then he
Ace-8
actually
can get
wins with
Ace-8 to
Ace-8.
fold.
Yeah, that was. It's a shame. It would have made for good TV, but it's hard to do that for your
It is,
tournament
of
life
course.
with Ace-8 offsuit over. I mean, I haven't really played with Jashti too much, but I've heard stories. Kind of a super aggressive. Definitely could have anything in that spot.
Yeah, she's definitely showing his aggression with those last 2 hands.
It's like one of those things where you decide to fight back against a super aggressive guy with a hand that maybe is like not as strong as you'd like, and then it's the one time he's got you crushed.
Exactly.
Looks like they want you to run for mayor. The chat has, this chat is starting the Michael LONCAR mayoral campaign right now.
And here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Jashti, last hand.
Is it gonna do the same thing?
Basically,
100K?
basically shoved.
Yeah.
Wow.
The same raise.
He's doing it again. He looks like an
Oh,
absolute
he messed.
maniac
I think
now.
he, in a sense, I think he, it almost like serves. I don't know. I don't think he should have put the extra in. I really don't. I think the same bet would have at least looked as completely random as he wanted it to look. But then he throws that extra little in.
I mean, honestly, with him just making the massive 3-bet shove from the small blind, and then the very next hand raising to 100K, now you've got a real hand. How weak does it really look when he just puts in a normal size raise? Even just a 3x raise right there. Make it 50,000.
Yeah, he's killing some of his value,
Make it
I
a normal
think.
raise. Give someone some rope right there. You've just shown absolute aggression to the maximum of the last 2 hands.
Yeah.
You've got a real strong hand with 3 hands behind you there with jacks. I would really like to see a smaller raise right there.
I think in his mind he's thinking like, oh yeah, like I just did this, but then he threw in that extra 20K, right? So it was not. So it was just different enough where you maybe are thinking like, huh, that's weird. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously we think like, oh, you're betting 100K, you're making it like 10x pre. I usually laugh when people do that because it's just like, okay, like if you have a good hand, I'm not calling.
Exactly.
There's like 3 hands I'm calling you with, and then
Yeah, exactly. And that's once he goes 110 there, I mean, he's only going to run into really big hands, so.
yeah. Which is interesting. It's like why he wins some of the pots because there's only so many hands that are going to play back at him. But, you know, especially when you're talking about 9th, right? You're 9 people left, 10K up top. Nobody's super eager to give you all their stack. This should play out well for Shane if he doesn't shove. Depending. If somebody decides they want to attack a weak open,
So
he could theoretically shove here. It's like close.
yeah, it's right there. He decides to raise to 40K.
I mean, you know he's never folding, so in that sense, just a raise isn't bad. He might get a call here from Huan. It's not a terrible hand to defend your big blind with. 3-9 suited. Although the bet is what, 12, 40K. Yeah, it's like 3x. Oh no, I think I would defend this.
Yeah, this is really close.
I don't know.
With the fact that he only has,
153
he
behind.
only started the hand with about. Well, I'm confused here if the big blind's at 16 or 12. This makes a big difference.
I think it's 18.
I think it is 16.
16. Yeah. Yeah, so he makes it like a little less than 3x, right? And Juan's got some chips to play with. He's in second place. So he decides to see a flop.
You definitely have to feel Shane's strength here because he, like he did start with 12 big blinds. It looks really strong. Under the gun +2, just open raising.
Oh,
2.5
yeah, that's
times
true.
big blind and only leaving 10 big blinds back. You're saying I'm really strong. Shane decides to check back. The ace
He might get
king
a
on the
little
ace
bit
jack
more
6
money
flop.
out of this.
And he will right here. He'll
It's
definitely
kind
get
of an interesting bet, though. Like, you really...
Juan senses the weakness,
Yeah.
which was actually a trap by Shane, and now Shane's going to get that extra little value by checking back.
Shane just gonna call.
I was gonna say this will be very, very interesting now to see if.
I mean, because if you raise here, you're not getting called. If you call here, you're probably not getting another bet. So I mean, you pretty much got the maximum amount you're gonna get here, I think. Unless maybe Juan's not paying attention to stack size and he decides to just shove the river.
Oh, and there it is. And Shane says all in.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to take any chance of any kind of flush draw getting there. Figures to probably get paid off by any ace here.
In general, too, a 6 on the turn is really good for him.
Yep.
Because at the very least, he knows, okay, if I do lose to a random ace-jack, I have a 2-pair. I guess you're still losing to ace-jack, but... Aces.
And that check back on the flop got Shane an extra 30,000 there, so he's back to a nice healthy stack with 287.
Yeah, now he's out of the group of players that's listed in big blinds.
That's right.
Great job, Shane.
Yeah, very nice.
You've reached that tier of chip counts
Very
where
nice.
you're no longer being counted as big blinds. At least for now. I mean, it's only going to get quicker. 26 minutes left in this level. Jashti's definitely going to lock up top 4. Wouldn't be surprised. No, you're right. You're right. As I said that, Eric, I realized that he still loses to ace jack. So that was a dumb comment by me.
No,
just keep track.
I think the 6.
I think the 6 is a good card for your hand to feel comfortable that you're winning.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna get paid by every ace. You know, all the weak aces now don't have to worry.
True, like ace 10 is gonna probably call now.
Weak aces don't have to worry. Yeah, it's not the worst. It's not the worst turn card.
But in my mind, I was thinking, like, if you're 2 pair, but he would still lose the ace jack. But that's the only hand. Obviously, ace 6 in ace jack, you'd still lose 2 pair. But at that point, I don't think you think you're ever losing. So,
no.
Especially when you have so few chips left, you're going nuts. And if he has some hand that beats you, so be it. You know, that's just part of the tournament game.
And now it folds around to Sean Drake.
They have so far, Pip started with 323. I thought he started with 400 something. So he's down.
Folds around to Mikey, who shoves all in for 10 big blinds. I believe the blinds are 8,000, 16,000 now.
Yeah, it's just under 10. Loke. First action. Nope.
And Mikey takes it down.
Yeah, 24% of the chips in play. And Jashti has moved himself up into second place over Huan after that hand against Shane, so... What's Mike P eating over there? My guess is pad thai or something like that. Did they have pad thai here? I would not be surprised.
Yeah, he usually eats the pad thai. Pad thai is super good.
Oh yeah, all the food here is good.
Oh, it's
for real.
really
if you're
good.
in the chat, most of the people in the chat have been here before, but if you're in the chat and you haven't been here before, come.
Yeah, the food is the best. It really
the food's
is.
good. The place is great. They have plaques if you like those. If you make it deep in the tournament.
Folds around to
That
Sean
seems like
Drake
a hand
now
that Sean's gonna go with.
in the hijack.
You never like super love these spots, but I think they're pretty standard, or at least close to standard. He's got a little bit.
Yeah,
he
he's
might
shoving.
actually.
He's shoving 13 bigs from the hijack. Ace deuce, pretty loose shove, but Sean's definitely always going to be leaning towards the aggression, or excuse me, the aggressive side of.
It's an interesting spot. Yeah, I was like that's pretty close. If that's suited, maybe Luke gives him a call there. He seemed to be almost interested in it as it was.
Yeah.
Right? Salad equals plus EV. I think he's eating some kind of noodle dish. I don't know. Let's take bets.
And Sean takes it down.
Yeah, I think I need salads for the rest of my life, but usually don't listen to that advice. Hasn't been a whole lot of action. I mean, there's like been chips moving and that kind of stuff, but but nobody's really kind of trying to throwing down any sort of aggression against anybody. I guess Jashti with the shove over the button open, but pretty much just like shoves and folds for the most part. Let's see.
Pip now looking down at the ace king. Blinds are 8,000 to 16,000 with a 2,000 ante.
He made it 40.
Looks like a raise to 40.
He's eating his breakfast.
2.5 times the big blind. And Huan now looking down at pocket fives. Looking like he's going to call and go to a flop here.
I don't know. Maybe that looks raisy.
It looks like he's re-raising here.
Pretty aggressive raise. Are we live? We're 20-minute delay right now?
Yes, I believe we are at 20-minute delay.
SD619HR. You sound like a law. Is this live? Is this live? Mostly yes. Yeah, 20-minute delay.
So this is a really small, almost a min-click back 3-bet with fives from the cutoff.
Which is actually kind of random. Like, I feel like you're never getting a fold there.
Yeah, you're definitely never getting a fold.
A lot of times
I've seen... This is such a golden spot, not even knowing what Huan has here to shove all in with ace king.
You're probably getting called.
You started the hand with 17 big blinds. You get a min-click 3-bet. And this is just a great shove spot right here. And if he shoves right here, we should just see fives fold.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because the min-click thing is something some people kind of do sometimes with big hands, like aces or kings that try to get you to... I see that a lot online.
Yeah.
That's just like a pretty standard move. But, yeah, I'm not sure... I don't know if I like the 3-bet with fives there. No, I suppose definitely. You're susceptible to like a squeeze if you just call and then somebody else
right there,
shoves.
he's willing to put chips in the middle. Why not just flat call the 40 and try and flop a set rather than have any chance of something like that happening?
I like
nice hand for Pip.
And sometimes I think people they want to be aggressive, including myself, but I think like they want to be aggressive, but they're not aggressive to the appropriate amount of chips to actually like get what they want to accomplish done. They're like, oh, I'm raising, but realistically you're just min raising, right?
Yeah.
Like, or you're effectively only min raising. So instead of like a big 3-bet, right? Like I would say isn't generally a standard 3-bet's like 3x whatever the bet is, right? So if he opens the 40, you make it 120. Now the guy with 240 behind, he's probably calling because he got ace king and he's like never gonna fold in that spot. But if he has a hand like sixes or something, maybe he thinks twice about it.
Yeah, no, that's true. So we saw Pip there. Very next hand fold his pocket twos. And looks like we have an open raise to 40,000 from Sean Drake with ace 10 offsuit.
That's under the gun +2, so early position. Good Mike is the best. Oh wow. Yeah, I think Jimmy is gonna shove.
Yeah, this is definitely a shove spot for Jimmy. He's looking down.
I wonder if Mike or Sean. Why did I say Mike? I wonder if Sean can fold. Probably.
Yeah, this is definitely a raise fold spot.
Yeah. You're not loving. Yeah, and he's just not excited about it at all.
Yeah, this is just about the strongest hand that you're gonna raise fold in the spot. But you've raised from under the gun +2. Folds around the big blind, who shows all in for 11 big blinds, and essentially your entire stack. The range of hands that Jimmy Z's shoving here is definitely crushed by ace. You know, it's definitely ace 10 is definitely crushed here, and Sean knows it. He's frustrated, and expect to see him lay this down.
Rebuys, re-entries, I think, monster hands.
Yeah, re-entry
for the first 6th level. Yeah.
Yep. Oh.
And he called.
And Sean decided that Jimmy Z's range was just loose enough to get in there with ace 10. Decides to call, and here we go. Ace 10 versus pocket 10s.
It's hard sometimes when you're short and you have a hand like an ace 10. It's not like terrible, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's hard to get away.
And a 10-eye flop.
End of the
Sean's
story
gonna need
right
perfect runner. That'll do it. Jimmy Z scoops the pot.
that leaves Sean real short, I think.
Sean's going to be extremely short, chipping a chair. Hopefully he can make a comeback.
Yeah, I was gonna actually, he's dead on the flop, right? Oh, I guess
he's trying to ace.
2 aces, yeah. And then, though, I think we're saying is Mike folded an ace.
Oh.
So, in general, yeah. So, in theory, he has 2 outs, but realistically, he had 0. Well, yeah, he had to go run around. Anyway, bad spot to be in regardless, especially when he flops a 10. You're drawing to an ace anyway. Now you need 2 of them. Yeah, so Sean is actually going to be either he's under the gun, I think, or under the gun plus 1.
I think he's under the gun plus 1, yeah.
With 4 bigs. It's not over yet.
It's not over yet. 1 double up and he's back to 10 bigs.
Everyone's always pretty impressed with, like, when you get to this stage in the tournament, or any stage in any tournament when somebody's short, and they're just like, oh man. So in 3 hands, if Sean is still in and he has like 100K, 4 different people at the table are going to be like, man, you had like 5K like 3 hands ago.
Exactly.
And it's just like, maybe at this stage in the tournament, because these guys are a little bit more, tuned in to try to win the money. But early in the tournament, it's like anytime someone gets short and then triples twice or something, it's just like everyone's like, oh, I love it.
It can happen so fast.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, doesn't take a lot. Shove blind. I don't think he's going to shove blind, although that would be kind of a baller move, kind of a very loose move, but
yeah, he can definitely take a peek and wait for the next hand.
I think I may have actually done that before.
Yeah.
Shove blind under the gun. I think I had like 3 bigs or something. Now I realize that was probably a stupid idea because I looked at 3 deuce. I think after once I had shoved. It was not a very reaffirming feeling. Prefer bottom.
And it looks like Steamed Milk is getting super aggro right here and shoving for 11 big blinds from the cutoff with 9-10 offsuit, hoping to scoop up the blinds and antes.
So we like to call a light shove.
Jimmy Z is definitely not going to be able to call. And there you go. Only 3 hands behind you to possibly give you a confrontational call there, and he scoops the pot and
kind of a big shove for
it's a big
10 bigs. Although I guess in the sense you're thinking maybe he's thinking if I raise here, this Jashti's in the big, he's capable of shoving over me, and then I'm going to hate folding. It's one of those things that I'm not sure I would do that with 10-9 offsuit.
Yeah, I mean with 11 bigs there,
but
I think your play is really all under fold. I don't see really min raising and folding and leaving yourself with 9 bigs.
Oh, Eric was down 5,000. Did everybody reaffirm like every time you doubled, or you didn't double? You're just busted, huh? Looked out, dude, is very interesting in the steamed milk chips. Steamed milk. You said Eric is easy money. No, I did not say that. I don't believe I said that. Let's check the tape on that one.
And now it's folded to Shane in the cutoff. Blinds are 8,000, 16,000. He's got
Shane's got a little bit of chips to play
16 big
with.
blinds. King, queen offsuit with 3 hands behind him. It looks like he's raising to 40,000.
That seems to be the agreed upon standard.
Yep.
40,000 right now. Now, if he does it again,
if Jashti,
7-3.
If Jashti too much ups here, it'll be interesting to see if Shane folds. I mean, Jasti's definitely shown some crazy aggression here, and obviously no one's seen his hands, but this will be interesting spot.
It's super aggro. I think he's just playing off the fact that the guy's short enough where he's going to have top tier hands to call him.
And if he does get called, like in this situation, he's going to be drawing live, and more importantly, he'll have a comeback stack. He'll have a 200,000 plus stack if he gets called.
I don't know. I'm not really sure. This is one of those ones where you're like, maybe he thought about it. Maybe his initial thought was, I'm going to go for it again.
I think he really did think about it legitimately.
Yeah.
Like there was no Hollywood there.
But then he was like, that little part of him got the better of him.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? This is a really bad hand. At least 8-7. I mean, you're not loving either of those spots necessarily if you get called, but you like it a little bit better when your hand's somewhat coordinated as opposed to 7-3. Is there other shove with a hand like Queen 9 suited or super weak ace? It depends on how many blinds we're talking about. To be honest, I think I spent enough time doing like snap shove type push fold stuff. You know, if you're talking about like 6 or 7 bigs in your first act, I'm pretty sure Queen 9 suited is a shove in that range. Same as like Ace wheel card. It's you know, I think it's weird. I don't know. I mean, it sounds dumb to say, but Queen 9 just feels better because I think often you're going to get called by an ace.
Queen 9 suited is definitely going to match up well. So Queen 9 suited is definitely going to match up a lot better with like when you're shoving 7, 8, 9, 10 bigs, I feel like.
Oh, here you go. This is a spot where maybe Jashti just blows his value out of the water again.
Yeah, he really needs to put a small raise in here, especially with...
He may not get any action, but...
Especially with Sean, who's going to be pretty much priced in to go all in, so he's really only raising into one hand here in the small blind to really get some real action going. And here it is.
Yeah,
here's
standard,
a normal little...
Is that like 50 maybe? A
like
little bit
40, more? 45, 50?
Somewhere in that range, 45, 50. I was the shortest stack, 30 left. Same with 20 left. Hard to bluff with no chips. Yeah, that's true. Short stack, the other short.
And there it is, raised to 40.
Wow. I mean...
It's such a sick spot, because I mean, I think this is really a spot you have to get in with Sean. You got 3 big blinds.
3 bigs?
You're hoping to join live, and he just happens to run into a brick wall.
What is there a hand you're folding? I mean, there are hands you're going to fold in that spot, but 3-4 is at least somewhat coordinated.
Let's go. Give us a 4 or 3 on the flop.
Give us a sweat.
Give us a sweat. Greatest comeback of all time.
Okay, it begins now. There's a 3 in the window.
Oh! 2 3s for Sean.
Oh, no.
Greatest comeback ever is in possible effect now.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Jashti can
so only the king or the 9.
King or a 9 on the river to win.
Might be.
Otherwise, Sean's doubling up.
Oh, wow.
And there it is. Perfect timing.
The good news for Jashti, if you're going to lose with kings this late in the tournament, you want to lose to the guy that has 4 bigs,
exactly.
Right? That could definitely have hurt a lot more than it did.
And Sean now, as you said, back to 116,000.
Yeah.
And he has the type of stack where he's got some definite fold equity when he can shove here and just take down the blinds once or twice. And
yeah, still 9 bigs, but, you know, if he doubles, he's above that
1 second
threshold.
Right back.
Oh, yeah, no problem. So, Queen 9, no good. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I guess if you're talking about that specific flop. But, yeah, so Sean doubles up. 10 minutes left in this level. We had 150 players show up today for the Stones Live last Sunday. $300 30K guarantee buy-in tournament. So far, the short stacks have been the ones that have been leading the action. Jashti's been mixing it up a little bit with some interesting 3-bet shoves. And it's not too bad. Put shoe on head to fried. I did that last time. And I'm not going to do it again, but I got you. We're not pre-recorded.
We're back.
Oh, Steamed Milk's favorite hand, 10-9 offsuit. Decides he doesn't like it in that position, though.
10-9 suit is nice. Definitely one of my favorite hands. Jimmy Z waking up with a real hand. Oh, that's folds to his hijack.
Tens and queens.
Exactly.
Not too bad game for Jimmy Z.
Just a standard little wide open here. Pray to God that Jashti plays back here. Nope. Open raise to 40K with queens. And nothing playable for anyone behind, and Jimmy Z will, unfortunately for him, take down just the blinds and antes and chip up with the pocket queens.
Loke's still sitting with like 700K.
Loke's still chilling on his 700K stack. No need to play anything without any premium hands right now.
Yes, Igor Kurganov is dealing. This is a doppelganger for sure. I feel like Igor Kurganov would be more likely to be playing in this tournament at the final table than dealing it, but what do we got? Is Loke going to find a hand that he wants to play here? Probably not.
Nope.
5-4 off.
And he has to realize he is just, and it looks like he does realize he is in just such a nice position to just sit back, play ABC poker, wait for hands, let some people knock each other out, move up the payoff structure. Only wait for those golden spots here as the big stack. There's no need to. And here we go. Sean Drake shoving king 4 offsuit on the button. Looks like he's going to get through the small blind.
Little under 10 bigs.
And this will be an interesting spot to see if Juan will decide to call everything this high. He's definitely getting the right price. Got to figure that Sean's shoving range is really wide. Really thinking about it. Definitely hate to see the deuce in your hand, but for 106,000,
and you're already in the big. Right?
You're looking at about a 7 big blind shove.
Are you calling here?
Definitely got to call here. You definitely got to call any ace in this spot. You got a nice 200,000 behind if you call and lose. Sean's range is really wide right there with 7 bigs, and
oh wow!
Once again, aggression wins, and Sean chips up now. Once again.
So do you think a guy like Sean, who may be one of the more experienced tournament players at the table, like his rep in the sense like people maybe are weary of playing hands with him? I saw someone in the chat say that he just can't lose sometimes.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to garner a lot of respect. You know, he's got a lot of tournament results, and definitely, I mean, ace deuce, you know, I totally understand why he folded that right there.
Shane gets ace queen offsuit.
And it says there on the screen 6,000, 12,000, but we are actually 8,000, 16,000.
Oh, it went up? Oh, okay.
And Shane is raising to 2.5 times the big blind to 40K with ace queen. Super standard under the gun +1 raise. No casualties yet here at the final table. All 9 of the final table remainders here are still in it. Folds around to Loke. Decides to let go of the 7-8 offsuit and not defend.
Is that a spot you would defend in? I mean, you're trying to stay out of trouble.
Not in this spot. Not in this spot with these stacks. You know, the strength of that hand right there under the gun +1 should be very strong. It should be either a high ace or a you know, a medium or bigger pair. I'm definitely not looking to defend there and get into a tough spot right there where you flop an 8 high flop. If you decide to defend right there with 7-8 offsuit, you're definitely not folding to at least 1 bet on an 8 high flop or a 7 high flop, and you're gonna get yourself into a lot of trouble, a lot of unnecessary spots. A lot of these stacks here are pretty shallow. You know, you've got so much value right now with your big stack to knock into any troublesome spots. Just let go of that spot as he did and move on to the next hand. And you know, if these stacks were deeper, if these stacks were, you know, if the average stack here was around 30 bigs, I could see defending right there in that spot. But with a lot of these stacks here being 10, 11, 12, 13 bigs, I really like the fold there from the big blind and not the non-defend.
So mostly because of the stack size.
Exactly.
So you're in a really comfortable spot.
Exactly.
You got 4 or 5 people who could bust way before you even get below 500K.
Yep.
It would be real weird if he decides to play King 5 from small blind. So how much of, when someone's tanking with a hand like this, do you think is like legitimate, like, is this a spot where maybe I could raise? I mean, I don't know.
You mean, do I think?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously he's thinking about maybe not folding, right? He's not.
Honestly, on a live stream like this, I'm always wondering how much Hollywood is going on and how much little tanking time is going on, but yeah, it looked, he appeared that he was actually giving some thought to it, even though I really don't think he was the jack deuce there.
Yeah, and he's still one of the shorter stacks, right?
Yep.
So if you're shoving your tournament life with, like, 3-bet shoving your tournament life with jack deuce suited or offsuit. Yeah. I don't know. There's so we used to run this 2 days. Oh right, yeah. The tournament. What time would you say the tournament usually ends? Like
I'm guessing this tournament, it's 11:10 right now. I'm gonna guess this tournament will be done at, I'm gonna say 1:30.
1:30. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad though.
Yeah.
10 to 1:30.
Yeah, not bad.
And then how this tournament, I haven't watched too many of these final tables, but they cut deals sometimes too, right?
Yeah.
With like 3 or 4 left or something like that.
Yep, I think this is the 4th or 5th final table I've commentated, and only one was played out. The rest, all the rest had deals.
Super. 1:30.
Yeah, maybe that is a late guess.
Yeah. Well, I kind of joked with Mike before the stream started. And I said no deals, and he was like, "Oh hell no!" So he sounds uninterested in a deal. Although
that's a big reason why I was saying that, because there's I think Mike in seat 2 and Sean in seat 1 and Jashti in seat 8. I'm pretty sure all those guys are going to be non deal makers. And interesting spot here. Pip decided to get super wide and open up, and raised from under the gun +2 with 9-7 suited, and ran into Steam Milk, who decides to shove back with King Queen offsuit right at the right time, and takes down the raise and the blinds and antes. Great spot there for Steamed Milk. Love it.
So when Mike opened 9-7 suited, he was in the hijack.
Yeah.
Right. As opposed to under the gun +2, a little bit too early for Pip to get.
Yeah, it's definitely
to get saucy with that hand. I think.
Stacks are definitely too small, and definitely want to just lay that down.
It's too easy for people to shove on you.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and you're gonna get lots of times you're not gonna hit the flop, and now you're talking about burning a C bet, trying to take it down, and possibly getting check raised or getting called in a spot where you're drawing semi-dead on a king high flop. So many situations. It's just not a good spot right there. Even just raising 2.5 times the big blind right now, those 2.5 bigs right now are very valuable with all these stacks being so short and blinds going up soon.
The pay jump. So 9th is guaranteed 774, and it looks like 8th is 9 something.
Yep.
So you're talking at least like 130.
Yep.
Maybe like somewhere in the vicinity of $150 difference.
Yep.
Oh,
Got a raise from the hijack. Oh. King Jack open raises.
Then Steam Milk shoving again.
And kings for Steamed Milk. Shoves all in from the button. Playing about 17 big blinds.
Huan has not had a very favorable beginning to this final table, at least.
And with Huan raising there to 40, that's the spot I would really like to see what Huan did earlier. The virtual click back 3-bet there to 85,000. Get Huan to call. Look what he had. I mean, right there he has the very best possible hand you could possibly pray he has. Yeah. With kings there, King Jack offsuit. I don't think Huan would have folded for 45,000 more, and if he'd have flopped a Jack high flop, he could have got the full double and at least got the extra 45, worth of value. But hey, he took down the pot, chipped up, no contest, has a healthy stack, and.
Do you think 17 bigs is short enough where a shove is okay there? I mean,
I don't think it's optimal. Yeah. It's definitely not optimal. I think you got to go for value there with kings. Someone raises to 2.5 times the big blind. I'd like to see a 3-bet to 5.5 big blinds. So what would that be? Right about 90,000, 95,000 maybe.
So we're definitely not loving the Jashti like 100K open with jacks then.
Definitely not. I don't think that's. I definitely don't think that's optimal. But I see why he did it. Obviously, the previous 2 hands he made huge raises and was hoping that someone would call off light, shove back light. So
the whole point with the min click back is to get the value, right? Yeah. You want somebody to call the back.
Exactly.
If you have a big hand, you're not really afraid of too many flops.
No. I mean, obviously, all you're saying yourself right there when you get called there for another 45,000 is no ace, no ace, no ace, and you're good, I
think Jashti just get a walk?
I think so. I think he did.
Not too bad.
Here's our current chip counts.
Loke's dropped a little bit, but he's still got a big chunk of the chips in play. And I think Jashti is in second right now, right?
Yes.
I know they just flashed him.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure he's in second. So, there it is.
So the question here on the chat is, what does the 3-bet mean when they raise? So that's just the term for a re-raise. The first raise is considered a raise, and if someone re-raises, that's called a 3-bet, or the 3rd bet, meaning the big blind is the first bet in the pot, the raise is the 2nd bet, and now the re-raise, such as steamed milks, 3-bet shove all in with kings was the 3rd raise.
It's a good question and a good name, Mad Mardigan.
Great name. And Sean looking down at what is essentially the nuts here with his stack with 8 big blinds or so with ace king, and folds around a pip with king queen, and I'm really shocked he kind of snap folded there. Definitely a considerable call there for 8 or 9 big blinds with king queen when you've got no one behind you, you've got chips behind to move on with if you call and lose. Definitely a tight snap fold, let's just call it that.
Yeah. Do you think guys like Mike and Sean make a little bit extra in these tournaments because in spots like that, they are maybe a little bit more in tune with what you're supposed to do?
Exactly. Of course. Yeah, they definitely, they definitely know the bottom of range shoves they're supposed to make, and in doing so, definitely can get people to fold bottom of range calling hands in spots. So, they're definitely, the wide shoving with 7 to 11 bigs, 7 to 12 bigs in certain spots. Definitely, they're gonna have a very big advantage in those spots against players who aren't as in tune, I guess,
right,
with what to do.
Well, no, so obviously these guys have all played, but when you look at a guy like Sean or Mike, those guys have played more.
Yep.
They've got maybe a little bit more experience in tournaments, and so they probably get those extra little benefits of calling in spots where, like when we had Juan with the ace deuce, and he doesn't call the button shove with ace deuce in a spot where Sean probably would in the reverse call with the ace deuce.
Yeah.
And either get the bust or not. So now Sean has chips to play with, and is a dangerous player for the rest of the players at the table.
This is interesting. LONCAR decides to limp in from under the gun +2 at 10-9 suited, and everyone's definitely got to be a little weary of that. He hasn't played a hand yet at all. He's limping in from early position with the big chip stack. It almost looks like he's limping in really strong. And luckily for him here, no one else here out of the blinds has flopped a pair, so if he continues with a little poke, he will take down this pot. 87,000 in the middle, definitely a nice little... Nope, he decides to check back. Jack on the turn, giving him a double gutter with his 9-10. Pip now turns middle pair jacks. Let's see if he decides to bet. And he is reaching for chips, and Loke is probably going to have the right price here to call with the double gutter with a rainbow board. Drawing to any 8 or any queen for a straight. And Pip bets 35K, and Loke is definitely getting the right price here to peel one off. Drawing to an 8 for the absolute nuts, a queen for the second nuts.
Is there a world where you raise in the spot?
If I had to jump into the spot, which I never would be in the spot, but if I had to just teleport into the spot, I would definitely prefer just the flat call.
Okay.
Because you don't know if the small blind's betting out a king or a jack, and they're probably not going to fold a king. And Pip now betting here. You definitely have to think of what hand does the small blind have here where he's betting the turn and betting the river with an ace? Was he betting queen 10? You got to remember, you are the big stack. You limped in strong here from under the gun +1. So how strong would this look if you come over the topper here?
I think I'd be impressed if Luke goes over the top here.
That would definitely be a very next level thinking type of spot. But Pip takes it down with the jack deuce offsuit. I'm not sure if he thought he was turning his hand into a bluff there on the river, but nonetheless it worked and he took down the pot.
Yeah, well that's where him betting the turn pays off, I guess, if you're betting the river again. But then I guess people are maybe assuming that you're not going to bet the turn with ace high only.
Yeah, it's a weird spot. I would have thought, like, what the heck is this guy betting here on the river? I believe the countdown, people are asking what this countdown clock is here on the top right corner of our screen. I believe that that's the countdown to the 30-minute break. that the players were going to take, but I've been informed that all the players have agreed to skip the break, so I believe that that clock is
Oh, that's
meaningless.
not just the level clock, or?
I think that this is the countdown to the 30-minute break.
Okay.
But I believe that all the players have agreed. It's been a long day. Let's skip this break and continue play.
Somebody, I think it was Domino in 1984, asked how much up top. It's $10,451 to first place. It's a $300 buy-in tournament. $6,300 to second, $4,300 to third. So not a bad payday.
Yeah, always nice to buy in for $300 and walk out with a five-digit score. And here it is, Sean Drake. Unfortunately, we don't get to see what he had.
Oh yeah, they don't have enough chips for those small blind, big blind battles between those two guys to be memorable up to this point, at least.
And I would have loved to see if Sean shoved there. Mike had King 9, and I think with that arrangement there, him and Sean are very familiar with each other. He's knowing that Sean is shoving very wide in that spot. I think he would have called King 9 right there. It's really close. I think that would have been really close.
If anything, maybe you don't feel super comfortable as Sean when you know that Mike is next to you and going to appropriately.
That's why it would be a tough call with King 9, because Mike knows that Sean knows.
Yeah, it's that
Mike knows.
That
he's shoving really wide there. So King 9 would actually be a tough call there for his tournament life for 8 bigs.
Yeah, what's interesting though too is if those guys go at it in the blinds, one of them would have roughly about 20 bigs, and suddenly they have a dangerous stack here in this spot in the tournament. Nobody's seemed super aggressive. I do think it's kind of weird that the one hand Loke played was 10-9 of hearts, and it's a spot, I don't know. You think he's thinking like, oh, I don't want to fold this hand, but I also don't want to raise this hand.
Yeah, basically. And the blinds are now 10,000, 20,000, and Sean wakes up with what I would call the nuts right there with the 147,000 stack on the button. 7 big blinds with ace jack, folds your button. Perfect shove spot, takes down the blinds and antes, and
he's moved his way up to 10 bigs.
No longer the short stack. He's back to 10 bigs.
And Huan, who started in second when we started, I believe he had about 500K, is now the second shortest stack. So not a great level and a half or so for Huan.
Yeah, as shown with his 3-bet click back with 5s.
The not calling the ace deuce.
His defend with the queen 9 and the poke out bet on the turn that he had to fold. I think that's definitely a perfect example of tight is right. All those little spots there are very crucial if you could have those chips back.
Yeah, like in a vacuum, like the one hand by itself, probably not gonna ruin too much. But when you combine all three of those spots,
2 or 3 now hands, yeah. Shane looking down at pocket 5s, under the gun +1. Looks like a raise. I believe it looks like a min raise to 40K.
Are we at 1020 now?
I think we're at 1020 now, and Shane started the hand with 14 big blinds. Raises to 2.5 times the big blind. Really kind of a spot where you're really just hoping to get through here and just take down the blinds and antes with pocket 5s.
What do you think about Pip's call there?
I mean, honestly, with these stack sizes and Pip having Shane covered especially, I really would have liked to see a 3-bet here. You're facing an open 2.5x raise from someone who started with 14 bigs. You have them covered by right around 9 or 10 bigs.
But because he only calls, it gets a little bit more interesting.
And now we're getting... But hey, thank you, Pip, for flat calling, because now we have a very interesting hand. Loke is coming along here with pocket 8s and defends.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean,
Pip just catches the dream flop for this scenario.
Yeah, rainbow board,
top pair, top kicker, pair of queens with an ace kicker. It's check to him. We're definitely going to see a bet. He has to bet this. This is a pretty draw-heavy flop here. We've got a couple open-ended straight draws. You definitely don't want to check here and allow a free king to come off on the turn, which would be the worst card in the deck for you. We should just see a bet and 2 folds here. Can't really imagine anything else happening in this scenario.
That's a
Looks
60K?
like about a 60K bet or so.
Roughly 1/3 the pot.
Yep.
This is boring hand over. Yeah, that's true. It could have gotten a lot more exciting. I wonder though if Pip raises, is there a world where Loc gets involved with eights, or does he just begrudgingly fold eights?
No, you definitely have to fold eights. I would have really been. It would have been curious there if, because with the situation and Loc having Shane covered by so much right there.
If
with
he
how much
shoved.
I was gonna say with how much is dead money right there, I think I would have shoved right there with pocket eights from the big blind.
It's a good squeeze hand.
It's a perfect squeeze hand. It's really the absolute worst hand I'm ever going to be showing there if I get called. I think I would have gone for it right there.
So the call by Pip was definitely a catalyst for some action,
Yes.
and then it didn't really get anywhere that we thought it might get. That's all right. Pip makes a little bit of money though.
Pip flat called and pretty much got max value there. And he is now our chip leader.
Wow, great job, Pip.
Pippin' ain't easy.
So we've gone up 2 levels, so now most of the people on the board are listed by the amount of big blinds left. If they're under 20 bigs, their chip counts listed.
And we have
by...
not, how crazy is this? We have not had a knockout yet.
Yeah, Sean got pretty low, down to 4 or 5 big blinds.
Final table's been going on for over an hour now, and all final 9 still at the table.
Whole cards look nice. Yeah, flop was disappointing. Whole cards look nice.
Thank you everybody for joining us in the chat. We appreciate the love.
For sure. I think that's a spot where Loc is showing us, at least, that maybe he's not going to be super aggressive.
Yeah.
If you give that hand, well, I mean, if you get that hand and that chip stack to someone like Sean, maybe the tournament's already over at that point.
You're talking about the ace queen?
Yeah, if he has eights in that spot.
Oh yeah, the eights.
With the big chip stack.
I think Pip would have had to have folded in that spot. Once it's 5s raises, you flat call ace queen. If eights would have shoved there, I don't see.
Yeah, we know the shove probably gets through,
Exactly.
right? And then you just make a decent amount of money. 5s is probably never calling.
No, definitely not.
So in that sense, so now you get 5s in middle position with like 17 bigs. Are you just open folding 5s?
I definitely, from that position, I definitely would have folded 5s from early position there. If you get flat called, you're gonna really not liking any flop, and you're definitely gonna have to see bet. If
Right, you don't
got
want
one
to
caller,
limp
now you're
or
gonna
anything,
burn a
so-
lot of chips. You're gonna get 3-bet a lot, and you have to fold your hand. You're totally handcuffed. There's too many hands behind you to run into. Yeah, I really just would have liked to see the fold there with 5. It's just too early a position.
So at what point are you just like if you have 10 bigs, are you shoving 5s?
Yeah, definitely shoving right
But
there.
17 bigs, you can
17
you can
bigs,
feel
just
pretty
fold
good
and
about
move
open
on.
folding.
Pip now under the gun +3 with ace king suited, raising up to 45K.
It's been a good round for Pip so
I was gonna
far.
say
He's getting some big hands.
Moving to chip lead, pick up ace king suited. Life is good.
Yeah, first hand back. Take down the pot.
I was actually thinking about that if they're gonna put the yellow $10,000 chips.
Or are they coming in?
soon.
So
Probably
they have
probably
25K plaques, but then
Yeah, that's curious. They put the 25K plaques in before the 10K chips.
it's just because if you got plaques, you got to show them off, right?
Exactly.
Everybody. Well, okay. I would say most people love plaques.
Once you go plaque, you never go back. That's how it goes up in here.
Yeah.
Pip is extending his chip lead over 600,000 now.
Hello, Vocal Terror. The 10Ks are decommissioned. Is that a legit? Is that for real, or is
The
that
10Ks are decommissioned. Jimmy Z starting off the action.
And tonight, 10K chips are fine. Looked out, dude. Built the biggest chip tower at the table. Yeah, exactly. I'm always nervous stacking my chips that high, especially if I see them start leaning a little bit. Yeah.
And definitely, momentum is definitely a real thing in poker. I would definitely expect to see Pip here raise with Queen Jack suited.
You gotta be feeling good.
He's feeling good. He's chip lead. He's won the last 2 hands. You got Queen Jack suited, and very nice playable hand. A hand that plays well to the flop.
It's like if you're playing and you're looking at these hands, and you want to be aggressive, it's nice to look down at a hand that you can be aggressive with.
Exactly. And I like his sizing. 45K is exactly what I opened to here with big blind at 20K. 2.25 times the big blind. Loc decides to flat call from the big blind with King Jack offsuit.
Where's Justin? He's not in the chat. He's here, or was. He's hanging around.
He's here.
Maybe he's watching Game of Thrones.
Oh, man.
Taking a break to watch a little bit of the finale. I don't know.
Definitely going to watch that tomorrow or the next day. And Shane looks like he's going to come along. He's got the right price with Jack 8 of spades. It'd be pretty sick to see the case Jack pop off here on the flop.
Yeah, wow. Everybody's got a Jack, right?
3, 4, 5. Now, here we go. We'll see if any one of these three players can find some naked aggression to bet here. Obviously, any bet on this flop would get 2 folds from the other two. And Loke using the position. If he has X-ray vision in the spot, it's a great spot because neither one of these two people can continue in this hand with this bet. They're completely handcuffed. You can't bluff in the spot. The 65K should do the trick.
You think Pip should have gone for a C-bet there, given the way the action went pre? I mean, it's not a great flop.
I mean, not knowing what your opponents have, I really honestly just like it played as is. Obviously, it's easy to say here behind the booth, looking at these hands, like, yes, he should have bet because the other two guys would have folded those two hands. But
oh, right, yeah. That's I guess I'm just thinking, like...
With the big blind defending with a very wide range in the spot after a raise and a call, that flop's going to hit the big blind so often. Loke's defending with a lot of mid pairs. It's not going anywhere. I really think he played it great. Raise up at the 45K. Get a call on the button and get a call from the big blind.
Do you think part of that also is that Loke is in the hand with him, so he's the other big stack, one of the guys that can bust him, do some damage to him?
Exactly. If it was just the big blind, I would, I would think the C bet on the flop is the right play, but with the button call there, I think he definitely played it right. For those of you just tuning in, this is the Stones last Sunday of the month, $300 buy-in, 30K guaranteed, final table. Total prize pool got to $38,700. 150 players to start the day. 3 million total chips in play. We are down to the final 9. We've been here at the final table. This is Brent Harrington.
Hello.
And we have been here at the final table for just over an hour. Still not one casualty yet. All 9 players still
hanging in there,
hoping for the dream of winning that $10,451. And here we are now, folded to Huan in the hijack with King 10 offsuit. We'll go with Huan. I think it's Huan.
Wow, he has under.
Raises to 45K, and wow, yeah, he
has under 10 bigs.
He started the hand with right about under 10 big blinds, and
if you're playing that hand,
wow,
you're shoving.
Steamed Milk looks down at queens, and this will be an interesting decision here for Huan to see if he'll decide to call off now with King 10 after committing
a third of his stack or something?
Yeah, almost a third of his stack.
So you think that King 10 there is a shove?
That's definitely
if you're playing, or is it
I definitely just shove right there. You've got what 165 bigs. You got 8 big blinds. 8 big blinds with 4 hands behind you. It's definitely just a shove spot. But hey, he has allowed himself. Oh, and here we go. Here's the click, the 3-bet click to commit. Huan, and this is such an interesting spot now. You got to feel the super strength here from Steamed Milk. Will he fold and get away? You can't really flat call on the spot for 45K more.
Yeah, that would be.
You basically are just on or full now.
Wow, flat calling here just feels really.
I mean, yeah, if he flat calls, he basically has to. It's essentially just going all in with it. It's interesting to me that with the kings,
he didn't.
Steamed Milk 3-bet shoved, and he has less big blinds now, and does a click back with queens. Very, very interesting to me. I guess maybe it was because of Juan's stack being so short as the pre-flop raiser had something to do with it.
Maybe he thinks, yeah. That's interesting because Juan didn't have that much more.
No.
Before. Maybe this time Steamed Milk is actually looking at how much Juan has and thinking exactly what you were saying. You can't call here. So you're either playing for the rest of your chips or you're folding.
Maybe he's listening to the stream and maybe he heard
True,
what I said.
yeah. There you go.
I'm just joking.
Giving out free advice. You should charge money.
Hey, what's up?
Especially when people come by and make faces at you. Like,
Exactly, I know, right?
plaques are hard to see, blue and dull. Yeah, the color of the plaques maybe could use some improvement, I suppose. But you know what? They're plaques.
They're plaques.
Exactly. And they're sleek, right? They're
Once you go plaque, you never go back.
So still 9 players. Guaranteed $774. That's ninth place money. And Juan is limping. No, all
Definitely
in. Okay.
shoving. Yeah, definitely.
It's like,
You got 6 big blinds with ace-10 offsuit. You're the short stack. Definitely what I would call a nut shove. A great shove spot with your chip stack.
yeah, the sad part is if he has ace-10 last time, maybe he shoves last time. And who knows? Obviously, he was going to get called by queens, but...
He got away from the queen's running there.
Once you get plaque, you lose all your teeth. It doesn't rhyme as good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound...
Yeah, there is a fly in the booth. It's a pretty big one, too.
I know.
He's joined us. Can we get a name played for the fly? He's the third man in the booth. They made us actually...
Let's call him Marty Mick.
Marty Mick. Got it.
Marty McFly.
I get it. I got it. All right, Marty. Are you going to shove ace-10 there? Yes. Yes, I would. Cool, Marty. Thanks for your help. Say bye to Marty, everybody.
Say goodbye. Say goodbye.
All right. We got 10K up top. And everyone's still got a shot.
Yeah, everyone's still got a chance to have a 5-digit payday today.
You think there's a thing in low... Okay, so you have the big stack when you get to 9 left. And then you haven't played a hand in a while. You limp to 10-9. Do you think it's like you have to play some hands? Or like, how much of that is his own self thinking, oh, I got to play something? Or can you really just be okay with like sitting around and letting everybody else play?
Are you referring to should
Just
he have limped to 10-9 suited?
Or just hit, yeah, or just you think that's his mindset? It's like I haven't played a hand in a while.
Yeah,
I can get away with it.
I think that definitely might have come into play. I think he thought like, oh, you know, I haven't played a hand here in the first couple rounds. I want to go to the flop here, and you would have to be pretty strong to raise right there after he hasn't played a single hand for 2 rounds. He's the big chip stack, and he limps in from under the gun. I think it was under the gun +1.
Yeah, it was really.
It looks really strong. So he's probably going to be able to go to the flop there for 20K, and 9-10 suited is a perfect definition of a hand that flops really well. So yeah, I think... Did he limp because he didn't have some playable hands before that? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And here we go. It's folded around to Jimmy, who's raising to 3 times the big blind to 60,000 on the button with ace-3 offsuit. Jashti looking down at pocket queens and just thinking to himself, oh,
Yeah.
I did this exact...
It's better than 8-7
I did this exact...
offsuit.
I was in at this exact spot to start the night with 7-8 offsuit. If you guys missed it at the final table here, where earlier in the night, Jimmy Z open raised the button with Jack 9 offsuit, and Jashti shoved all in with 7-8 offsuit from the small blind. And...
Makes it 130? Is that like... Did you just min click it back?
It looks like a click back here.
The mic certified min click.
Oh, and he's so upset. He clicked it to 120, 60 to 120. It's only 60K more. Jimmy felt the heat, felt the strength.
Whoa, what? Yeah. Oh, okay. Jimmy folded really quick.
Jimmy snap folded. Yeah, he.
That is the spot. I would say ace-3 is pretty bad, so maybe he's never getting called by ace-3 in that spot.
Yep.
But it is a thing where if somebody looked and saw that he did the same thing with 7-8 suited, maybe he gets a little bit of action he wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Yeah, definitely.
Marty didn't want to leave, so he's hanging around. Eliminate decks, queens, 2 hands in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a min raise, but it was a just more than a min raise.
I think for the effective, for its effective purpose, it's essentially a min raise, right? A min raise plus like 10K.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one really ever actually min clicks pre-flop on that kind of spot. Usually, the smallest people go right there is a double the raise.
Juan's feeling short and not loving looking down at 8-4 offsuit.
No playable hands yet here as it's folded to Shane in the hijack.
Folds just on the button.
Definitely going to see a raise here.
Just Sean has
most
about
of the
10
time.
bigs, right? In
Yep.
the big blind?
Yep. Let's see if Jashti decides to keep the gas pedal down and put a raise in here.
So I think if you're Sean, you'd like that Jasti's on your button.
Yeah,
got
I
some
mean,
chips
you're
and
gonna
he's
get paid when you got a big hand here, and
He may just do another one of his 100K opens, although now that's like a 5x as opposed to 10x before, but...
And it looks like a min raise to 40K.
It looks like... Could be short, right?
Looks like a raise to 38. Looks like he's 2,000 short there for a min raise.
Yeah, because he... It looks
And
like
there it is. He's going to have to put 2,000 chips more in to make it a complete raise to 40.
Maybe he just realized his blacks aren't in stacks of 20s now.
In fact, it was a raise to 33,000.
Oh, yeah. So you think
And-
he shorted the min raise on purpose to
And
make
Sean
him...
is shoving back for 183,000. And he's being sneaky. We are not able to see his hold cards this time. He's holding his cards off to the side.
You can shove a lot of hands here if you're Sean, though.
Yes,
At
you
10
definitely
bigs.
can. You're definitely. I think Sean's definitely shoving back any ace. He's shoving back King 9 plus.
What's like the worst hand he's shoving back here? Like the very bottom.
Probably like an 8-9 of spades type hand.
I wish we didn't see the cards before you answer that, but
Yeah, and this is just a great shove back spot with 9 big blinds facing someone who is just closing his eyes and raising the button with any 2 cards. You've got a ton of fold equity. You've got the best hand mathematically probably 90% of the time. And Sean takes it down. Sean's back in the game.
yeah, puts him up at like 14 or so big.
Was down to 3 big blinds after losing an all-in where he had Jimmy Z covered for the first knockout of the night. Lost it. And he is now back in the game with a nice middle stack.
Feels like if we were doing, I know we don't have the thing, but the VPIP or whatever, Sean's played a lot of the hands.
He's definitely, his VPIP is always going to be very high. And for those of you who don't know what a VPIP is, it stands for voluntarily putting money in the pot. It's the percentage of times that you are putting chips in the middle, not counting the blinds.
Yeah, Eric, 4-3 offsuit and he's back.
That's
in his
right.
defense, he's got 3 big blinds. He's in the big blind
Yeah,
with 4-3 offsuit.
He had to roll with it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of times you can really
You're going to be
fold
drawing
there.
live. You've already got a third of your stack in there. There's Annie's.
That's a spot too where if it wasn't Sean, maybe Juan's in that spot, folds a 3-4, lets himself get down to like lower than 3 bigs.
Yeah.
Playing the ante, being in the small blind with a hand that, any potential hand, maybe that's not going to be very exciting. So.
And now Jasti's folded to his he's folded to his cutoff.
It means I'm done min raising.
And he's raising to 3 times the big blind to 60K with ace queen of clubs. And he takes down the blinds and antes.
Stone's it's a card room, Kush King. It's it was the card room.
Yeah, it's a Cali card room. So we've got, I believe, 20 tables in here.
all kinds of 20 of the finest tables
Yes.
in all of Sacramento, which is made from redwood trees. I have no idea what the tables are made of. But we can pretend. 17 tables.
17 tables.
Yeah, it's a nice room.
Yeah, it's
We've
really
got
nice.
one giant bullhead above the fireplace. Not a lot of card rooms with a fireplace, especially a fireplace that looks as nice as that. In fact, I have never been in one that has a
I was gonna say, I can't think of
fireplace.
any other room.
That's true. Citrus Heights. You know what? I keep doing that. I keep saying Sacramento. I'm not really giving Citrus Heights. It's props, I guess. So I guess this was playing cash last night. It sounds. I couldn't find my debit card. Feels bad, man. I was this close to playing cash last night. It sounds. Yeah. Well, you know what? Stones is always going to be here when you find your debit card. And it's got 1-2, 1-3, 3-6 limit, all kinds of hold'em options, and a little bit of Omaha if you like that.
So now Shane with the short stack, 151K, open shoving ace deuce offsuit with 7.5 big blinds. And unfortunately, Jimmy Z to his immediate left, looking down at pocket eights, expect to see an all-in over the top here. 14 big blinds. You're sitting here with Jimmy, you've got 14 big blinds. The player to your right has moved all in for 7.5 big blinds. Just less than half your stack. You definitely have to come on over the top here. Wow.
Whoa, that's a tight fold,
wow.
Right?
Yeah, you definitely got to come on over the top. And instead, Jashti is probably going to come on over the top.
And then as we see these hands, Jimmy's in even a better spot because two different players are splitting an ace. Yeah, I don't think I fold eights there.
No, you definitely, it's all, obviously everything in tournament poker is dependent on how many big blinds you have. And all this, the situation right here is you're looking down at a middle pair with eights, facing an all-in from a short stack with 7.5 big blinds. You've got 14 big blinds yourself. It's definitely an all-in over the top spot right there. And if he shoves all-in over the top for 280K, Jashti probably would have laid down this ace-jack here, and now, because of that lay down with the eights, the butterfly effect has caused Jashti to be in a spot where he's either going to flat call or come over the top with the ace-jack himself. It's always interesting when you see these kind of butterfly effect spots like this. Like,
it's neat seeing it when you actually get to see the cards, yeah.
Jimmy deciding to fold there is causing Jashti now to come in there with ace-jack. I really can't imagine that Jashti would be in there with ace-jack if he had decided to shove the eights.
Yeah, you don't.
And now, if the board runs out with a deuce out there, maybe eights would have beat ace deuce, and now maybe ace deuce will beat ace jack. Massive butterfly effect possibility changing here. Jashti makes the call, everyone else folds, and
Jimmy's got to be like.
We're going to see our possible first elimination of the night if Jasti's ace jack can hold up against Shane's ace deuce offsuit. 359,000 in the flop. Excuse me, in the pot. And what a great flop for Jashti. Shane is now looking for a non-club deuce without a club or a jack coming on the Turner River. 5 of hearts, and now Shane is looking for a non-club 2. There's 2 left in the deck. He's looking for a deuce of hearts or a deuce of spades, or he is gone in 9th place. And there it is.
Wow. And there's a spot where Jimmy actually. And well, maybe he doesn't triple up because Jashti.
I was gonna say he definitely doubles up and knocks Shane out, and almost doubles up with the pocket eights. And just like you said, if some crazy way Jashti decides to come all in over the top with the ace jack, he would have got.
Yeah, he probably never does.
Yeah,
that.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I guess if there is a guy at the table that would do that, maybe it's Jeff.
It's possible. I'm not sure. So with that, Jashti is now back in the chip lead with 667,000.
Yeah. The upside for Jimmy is that he moves up a pay jump. The downside is that you had a good hand, you would have won. I mean, let's not be results oriented necessarily, but I think 9 times out of 10, you give that hand to anybody. I would say 9.8 times out of 10. You give the hand to anybody in that spot, and they're probably. Prior to that, I would have said 100%.
It's okay.
but yeah,
great game for Shane. Congratulations. 9th place is definitely something to feel good about moving forward.
A little bit more than double the buy-in, right?
Yes.
$774, $300 buy-in. I think 8 is wrong given the situation.
Yeah, I definitely think the 8s is 100% shove right there.
I mean, I'm going to say...
I said it before and I'll say it again. You're facing a 7.5 big blind shove. You've got 14 big blinds with 8s. It's definitely an all-in over the top spot right there, 100% of the time.
I would defer to Mike on this one, but I also would play the 8s.
Yeah, it's definitely a shove spot.
It seems like if you get down to under 15 bigs and you get a top, 20 hand or something, like eights is, you know, eights is better than you're shoving with a lot of the times, I think, in that spot.
Now, if no, yeah, no, eights is just, yeah.
It's hard to fold eights. How about that?
Exactly.
And then Huan finds a way to raise not his entire stack.
And this is such an interesting spot. Juan looks super strong right here.
Probably, yeah. Wow. And he's going to show him?
Show the deuce.
Oh, wow. He says good fold to him, right? The commentators say they were going 36.
8 players remain.
Yeah, a decent page jump, 967.
Just hasn't had a hand to shove. Has not had any shove spots, unfortunately. Mike looking to...
Almost a $200 pay jump right there.
Yeah. Yep.
8. So everyone's really excited that Jashti knocked out. So in that sense, maybe Jimmy doesn't feel too bad about folding and just moving up a pace. He's still in the tournament, at least. And everybody's got a little bit more room at the table.
That's right.
Although 9 players in these tables, you got enough room, but... That puts Jashti up there too, though. He's got he's been building a decent sized stack from the start. I think when we came into play, Jashti was like 4th or 5th.
Yep.
He's up there in the top 3. Pip, Loke, and Jashti have the big stacks, or the bigger stacks.
Yep.
I think it's 40-minute levels right now. Is that right? Or is it 30? That's a good question.
That's a good question. I think it's 30-minute levels. I believe it's 30-minute levels. Or do they go to 40? I'm not sure. That's a good question.
I haven't played this enough to know. Looks like 40, according to Vocal Terror. I'm going to probably defer to guys in the chat who've watched this before.
Yeah, I think
but
it is
yeah, 40 sounds
levels,
right.
Yes.
40 all day. Yeah, it is the last Sunday. I think maybe that's the difference between this and that weekly Saturday tournament. How about if it's raise under the gun and then +1 3-bets to 9x?
If there's a raise from under the gun and +1 3-bets to 9x, definitely folding 8s. That changes everything. And a little limp from the small blind with 8-3 from Loke, and Steamed Milk gonna poke at it with his bottom pair, and this should be the end of this hand right here.
Yeah, Loke hasn't really shown himself to be super aggressive. Not that even a super aggressive player would continue on that board with that hand, but do you think just limping in that spot is kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to limp in with 8-3 offsuit out of the small blind, you definitely have to have the game plan of, okay, if the big blind checks, I'm going to bet something on the flop, no matter what the flop comes. If you're gonna limp in with 8-3 offsuit, I definitely like the strategy there of limping in and putting in a post hook bluff, putting in a 1 big blind or 1.5 big blind bet on the flop, hoping your opponent has nothing and you can just take it down that way. Other than that, I mean, I really don't see a point of limping in with 8-3. You're not really trying to make a hand.
Is there any sense to, limping all of the time from the small blind?
I mean, yeah,
if you're doing it every...
Yeah, it's definitely... I definitely know some very solid tournament crushers that just basically limp out of the small blind 100% when it's full to them, so there's definitely a lot of metagame with that.
The hands Loke has chosen to play have been interesting. Maybe not... I mean, he hasn't really gotten much. So, like, in his defense, A, he started with all the chips, and B, he hasn't gotten very many good hands. I think 10-9 suited may have been the best hand he had. Or, I guess, pocket 8s.
And wow, look at this. Jashti, under the gun, deciding to get frisky here with 6-3 suited, raising it up to 65K. 3.25 times the big blind. He's going to run into Huan, who's got 186,000. Jasti's almost going to be priced into call here.
Yeah, Juan's never falling. But Huan only has... What does he have?
Juan has 186. It's going to be 121,000 more to call. I mean, now that you've put yourself in this bizarre spot with 6-3 of spades, it's almost a call now.
Yeah.
How sick would this be for Huan if he decides to call here with 6-3 of spades and gets knocked out with ace-king and 6-3? Nope, he says no, no, no.
So, okay. Let's live in a world where you open 6-3 suited there, which is probably not happening.
I'm going to call right there.
But you're calling.
I am calling. If my opponent doesn't have a pocket pair right there, I'm going to be about 35 to 40% with a ton of dead money. I have him covered by a healthy chip stack. I mean, yeah, if I had to teleport into that bizarre spot, I'm calling off.
You're doing a lot of that tonight, teleporting into spots that maybe you would never be in.
Maybe that I would never
Probably
be in.
never opening in this spot, 6-3 under the... That's
I mean, you just do the math right there. It's another 121,000. You pull the dead money, 65k, 65k. That's 130 plus the blinds is another 30.
And you have
You're
what?
talking
580s?
You're talking about 180 in dead money. It's another 120 to call. The math is right there.
And you lose the hand. You're still above average chip stack. You got 350 plus.
Yep.
Some interesting choices.
Yeah.
By Jashti. Huan C, 170k in lime tournament earnings. Mike P has finished his meal, shoving all in.
Mike P, this is the best hand he's had.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole night, looking down at 5 big blinds with Jack 10 off, so definitely got to get it in here. And pray to God that you can just take down the blinds and antes and move on.
He's short enough. What, he's got
called,
5 bigs?
Or yeah, he's got 5 bigs.
Sure enough, he's probably going to get some action from somewhere. But I don't know, maybe that's just a...
We shall see, and yeah, hopefully if he does get called, he's matching up well against Mike
P
queen,
is alive,
king,
yeah. Eric,
ace
I
nine
think
type of hand.
he finished whatever he was eating, and then looked down at Jack 10.
And steamed milk. I'd be pretty surprised if he folded here for less than 5 bigs.
You still have people behind you, a couple bigger chip stacks. Are you going to raise here with King Queen, or are you just flatting?
It's definitely not a shove. It's definitely not a repop. You've got 20 big blinds.
Is it enough where you might fold King Queen in this spot?
I would call. I would just flat call here. Hopefully, hope that no one behind comes all in over the top. Your flat call here looks very strong. I mean, obviously you've got some sort of big hand to be calling right here. To be risking a fourth of your stack. Even though it's only 5 bigs, it's still a fourth of your stack. You obviously have something pretty decent here. And it looks like we're going to see a flat call. And I really think that's the best way to play this hand, the optimal play here. You can also think of it in the light of, if it folds to me with King Queen, I would have raised to maybe 2.5 times the big blind. So what's another 2.5 times the big blind on top of that to call all in right here? And Jashti,
I think Jasti's already called, right?
He's probably going to come along here with a playable Queen Jack. Mikey P now.
There's a big bounty on me, like always.
Would have been in nice shape against the King Queen all in, but with Jashti calling behind, this is not obviously an ideal spot. Although he's played perfectly here so far at this final table, and hopefully he can get lucky and spike a 10 and get a nice triple up. Always pulling for Mikey to win. Good friend of mine. And there it is. Jashti picking up a gutter ball straight draw.
Not out of
and
the
only
woods,
one over card with Queen.
though. Jashti did check in the dark, by the way, so I think
Mikey P, the triple up. Dream is alive right now. He's loving the flop. He's loving life.
Oh, is it another 10?
Bam. He can only lose now with a 9 on the river.
Wow.
Most likely we'll see a check here. Jashti, I'm guessing we'll get a free shot at this 9. And hopefully for Mikey, the 9 does not pop off. The Jack on the river. Mikey's loving life.
I might get lucky here. I might get lucky.
Ship the triple up.
Full house.
Mikey's just loving it. Feeling good. He's got a playable stack again.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that at 1 3-flop.
Yeah, flopping a 10, you got to feel good. It only got better from there.
And Mr. Postel is now a force to be reckoned with.
Interesting side note, Mike and Sean, all in, both of them make full houses.
Boom.
Maybe the 2 most dangerous guys at the table get some chips, both by making full houses. Obviously, Sean's in with 7 bigs, but at this point, everyone's under 20 bigs.
Yes.
So the level just went up.
They are the 2 most dangerous players at the table. So
Yeah, we're at 1530,000 right now, so everyone's under 20 bigs.
Yep.
And it's anyone. It really is. Before it was anyone's game. It's even more so anybody's game at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like how the chat, if it's Sean or Mike, oh, lucky on stream? What a surprise. Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's been a pretty long thing. So now the blinds, all the chips are spread out pretty decently. Even Loke, a guy who, when we started this, had almost a third of the chips in play, is now within striking range for anyone. He's actually not even in first place anymore.
Yeah,
so
this is pretty crazy. We've been on the air here now. This final table has been going for an hour and 40 minutes. We started 9-handed. We're still 8-handed. 8 players still looking to turn their $300 buy-in in this tournament to a $10,451 payday for first place. It's folded around to Jimmy now on the button, and he has
those beautiful stones plaques.
He has a nut shove right here. He's got 225,000. 7.5 big blinds with ace 10 offsuit, and wow, Pip is going to wake up with the hand. Definitely got a call here with sevens.
How big's the shove? This shove's still under 10 bigs.
It's a 7.5 big blind shove. This is a snap call out of the big blind here with sevens, especially with the fact you have Jimmy covered.
He's not loving it. I don't think he's super excited about it.
You definitely got a call here.
This feels like one of those spots where Mike or Sean is snap calling.
Yes.
And maybe the other players at the table are thinking about it, and they're thinking more about that 10K up top than, like standard operating procedure. Like what should happen in this spot.
I will be absolutely mind blown if Pip shoves here. If Pip folds here, I will be mind blown. He's got Jimmy covered by 250,000. You figure to be flipping or actually ahead here. I mean, Jimmy Z's shoving range should be pretty wide here with 7.5 big blinds when it's folded to his button. You're going to see a lot of ace 2 through ace 7s. Under
oh,
pairs.
he was the big blind too?
Yeah, he's the big blind. He's
that feels like
action.
A snap call.
Of course.
You might not love it.
You don't love it, but it's a snap call.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. Let me rephrase that. It's not. You're expecting to be flipping a lot of the time, but you're going to be also crushing a lot of Jimmy Z's range with a 70% favorite. With Jimmy Z only flipping one over. Here we go. Jimmy Z looking for an ace or a 10 or running diamonds or backdoor straight options. To the turn we go. And there's the 10.
Oh, wow.
Jimmy Z is now loving life.
Part of the reason why you hate it, or
Pip
you're not loving
Pip is only looking for a 7 now, going to the river. And there's the double up for Jimmy Z. And just like that, he's got 500K, and he's now, I believe, a top three chip stack.
Yeah, well, it just like prior to that, the biggest chip stack was 19 bigs, right?
Yep.
So I think when you get to this point in the tournament, you got 20, like everyone, the average is like less than 20 bigs. You have to call sevens, you have to shove ace 10. A lot of this is sort of like clockwork.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then you just got to get lucky.
Yeah, exactly. You got obviously it's such an oversaid thing, but it's just the truth. You got to win these flips to win these tournaments, and right there, both players played the hand absolutely perfect. Jimmy Z has to make that shove. Pip has to make that call. And it's just a big coin flip, and obviously there's a ton of equity in that coin flip. And Jimmy Z scoops it.
So for the structure is excellent in this tournament. I think right now it's looking really thinned out because no one is busted.
No one's busted, so the blinds are going up and up and up and up. I mean, there was a lot of play going on in this from like the final 13 players or so to this point. I think from the final 13 players, as far as actual play, I think there was about a 45-minute pause from when we got to 9-handed of real time to when from when we went to final table, and then paused play for 45 minutes. Not counting that 45-minute pause, I believe there was around, we're approaching around 4 hours of actual tournament time
from
play.
13
from
to
13
8.
to now 8, with still 8 left. So because of that, when there were 13 players left, we were deep. There was a lot of post-flop play, a lot of big stacks. And now fast forward, you've had short stack after short stack after short stack, surviving all ends, not a lot of confrontations. The blinds are getting big, and now we are coming to a situation here now where stacks are a lot shorter, hand values go up, and there's going to be a lot more coin flips. Steamed Milk looking down at pocket jacks. He's had a nice
you gotta
array
feel
of
good
big
about
hands
jacks,
here.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because it's like at this point, somebody mentioned a chop. If you're somebody, like if you're in this spot, are you thinking, okay, I might want to chop because the variance in this spot is
not
weird?
eight-handed,
or because
no, eight-handed, I'm rolling.
Let's say like 3 eliminations, you get 5-handed, or are you still like, at what point are you even considering that?
I mean, I'm always one to talk deals and pause. There's no harm in ever pausing the clock and seeing what kind of deal you can brew up. And if I can get some kind of deal that's a great deal for me, then I'll definitely take a really, really good deal. But I can't really imagine if I was here 8-handed at this time that there'd be any deal I'd be willing to take. And Steamed Milk counted down his stack. He's got exactly 10 big blinds. Trying to decide whether to raise or just open shove the jack with 10 bigs. Decides to just rip it in, shoves it all in, and takes it down. And as we see right there, he got Pip to fold king queen out of the small blind. He might have possibly raised pre-flop there. Pip probably would have called and had a free chance to flop an overcard with a king or a queen, and could have spelled disaster for Steamed Milk.
Yeah, Eric says Sean D won't chop. I don't think if you're like Sean or Mike that you're that worried about the difference between whatever money you might make. So you might, you gotta like your chances, making correct calls, correct shoves, correct folds.
Exactly. Yeah, you have an edge. You want to go for it.
I mean, the edge probably isn't huge because of your situation, but if it exists, you want to try to take advantage of it.
Exactly. No, it's totally true.
What kind of name is Steamed Milk? It's
it's a clever nickname. We don't know how
there's a few nicknames out here.
We don't know how he came about it, but I like it.
Stones lets you go wherever you want with your stream name.
You can put whatever.
Is it better than Sour Milk?
Family appropriate nickname.
I think Crispy Bacon. There's like some names out there. Crispy Bacon. I think those are the two most out there names. So
yes.
Crispy Bacon, and some people put their actual names on there. What's that about? Mike P. I think we need to talk to Mike P about his stream name game.
Steamed Milk looking down at King 10 suited, although it looks pretty. Fairly early position, decides to lay it down. He only has 12 big blinds or so. Folds around to Sean now in the small blind. And he's playing 6 big blinds.
He's shoving so much of his range.
And Mike looks down at
Jack Deuce.
And cannot do it.
I was like, as much as Sean's shoving so much of his range, Mike's probably going to call a lot of it too.
He is.
But Jack Deuce offsuit,
you can't
not
call
cutting
Jack
it.
Deuce.
Yeah, not going to do it. Especially since Mike's not even the shortest stack.
Exactly.
Chops 5-handed worked out well. You know, I think, me personally, I don't know. I still would like to play. Obviously, every tournament gets to a point where it's kind of wild and you have to get lucky.
Yep.
Steamed Milk is a bad nickname. No one in the casino calls him that. That's funny. Well, I mean, what's his name? Cliff, right?
Cliff,
yeah.
Well, maybe there's
maybe he just gets tired of
maybe
people
they'll
saying,
start calling him Steamed Milk now.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll stick.
Oh, every nickname starts somewhere, right? It's like reminds me of Seinfeld, where George keeps trying to get people to call him T-Bone, and then like they start calling some other guy T-Bone.
I remember that one.
I haven't seen very many Seinfeld episodes, but I've seen that one.
If you're just tuning in with us, this is the final table of the Stones last Sunday of the month tournament. $300 buy-in, 150 players to start. We're down to the final 8. First place is just over 10 grand.
His brother's name is Latte. Yeah.
Blinds are 15,000, 30,000. It's folded to Sean on the button. He moved all in from the small blind last hand, took down the big blind. He's now shoving the button. Very standard shove with deuces. And if you're Juan sitting here with ace 8, this is a call spot. This is a definite call spot.
And he called.
And he makes the call. And it's a correct call. And again, just as we talked about from the last button shove by ace 10 by Jimmy and the call from sevens, this is another spot where both players have played their hand correctly. Twos is a shove right here. Ace 8 is a call. And we've got a classic flip. And as they say, you got to win coin flips to win tourneys.
Incoming eight.
So here we go. 541,000 in the middle. I believe this is again going to be a top 3 chip stack.
So who is at risk?
Pot.
Sean is at risk here?
I believe Sean's at risk. Good flop for Sean so far. He just needs to avoid an ace or an 8. and he will double up. 5 on the turn. Juan looking for an ace or an 8, or he will be extremely short stacked with just over 1 big blind to the river.
Ooh,
It's a 3.
there it is. Sean doubles again.
up.
How is AC at 61% pre? Sean gets a full.
I believe that the percentages are taken into account what the other hands were folded. So maybe I wasn't paying it super close attention, but maybe a deuce was folded from someone else, and maybe no one else had many aces or 8s. So I believe they take into account the folded hands. So it's the actual true percentage.
True percentage.
With the hands being folded of the all-in, not the generic. These 2 hands are all in against each other, not knowing what the other cards are. I believe that's how they do the percentages here on Stones Live.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about Sean D, he doubles up. He still only has like 12 or 13 bigs with that double. Maybe closer to 15 because of the annies and the blinds and that kind of stuff.
And there it is, Sean D, 18 big blinds, and now he's second in chips.
Wow. Yeah, so I think this tournament is stalled out at this point. I think we're going to see like 4 eliminations really quick.
Yeah.
Which is also another reason why maybe you don't want to make a deal, because there's 8 players left, and in 5 minutes you could have 5 or
exactly.
4.
And Juan's going to be all in the small blind here automatically.
For what it's worth, too, I don't think anybody at the table has actually mentioned anything about a deal.
No.
We're just talking theoretically.
Yes.
In terms of somebody in the chat asked about chopping.
From poorhouse to the penthouse, Sean Drake. Monster hands, I like it.
Yeah, if you're Sean, you gotta love your spot here too, because now you have chips to play with, and you gotta back your, like we were talking about earlier, your ability to fold right, shove right, and call right.
That's right.
With chips is way more effective, and Mike's probably a little jealous. Maybe he's kicking him under the table a little bit, wishing he didn't have Jack Deuce on that in the big blind when he shoved, but.
And Jashti has 3 hole cards.
So
I don't
dead
know
hand.
what's going on.
Did you end up with one of Jimmy's cards somehow? Or did they stick together? I'm not sure how that happened, because he's not in the button or in the blinds or anything.
What the heck just happened there? We just see Jashti looked at his whole card there, and he's holding 3 cards delta.
Maybe that ace that he keeps in his sleeve fell out, I think.
It slipped out.
Yeah, because that's the danger of wearing short sleeves if you're going to do that. Yeah, definitely this is a really awesome tournament. Every month, $300. And if you win this tournament, is that right, that the seat is for next month's tournament as well? So you're automatically bought into next month's tournament.
Yep.
Theoretically, I mean, in general, all these players are probably going to play next month's tournament anyway if they're in town.
Absolutely.
It's pretty much a standard for everybody who lives in this area. If you like tournament poker, I
should have played this one today. I wish I would have.
But then you'd probably be at the final table, and we wouldn't have the great comments on what people should do and shouldn't do.
Cheers.
I'd be here letting everyone in the chat tell me how dumb I am and that I should stick to Omaha, and I wouldn't have a pro
you prefer Omaha?
Well, yeah, and to be honest, like I say what I'm thinking, and what I'm thinking is not necessarily the best thoughts. So I'm sharing those with you, knowing that, hey, I'm in the booth, I'm not at the final table. And that's why we got guys like Mike around. But I do prefer Omaha. I feel like I would, I actually prefer like no limit deuce to 7.
Okay.
But we're not spreading that here. And
Jasti's getting really aggressive.
Ooh.
He's loving the 7-8 offsuit again. We saw him 3-bet shove a button raise with it from the small blind a while ago. And he's entering this hand with just over 15 big blinds. Raises to 2.5 times the big blind to 75K. Juan says, I'm already all in out of the small blind here.
You think he only does that
and
because
wow, there it
of
is.
Huan?
Loke looking down at pocket 10s, and
he's flatting?
This is just so extremely tight. With pocket 10s, you're facing an aggressive Jashti who has an effective 15 big blind stack. This is definitely the definition of a shove back all in. A 3-bet shove here.
Do you think because it's such an obvious shove, and do you think he's just playing Jashti?
I believe he's just a very tight player, and he's playing very, very careful. And honestly, if you have X-ray vision here, and you can see Jasti's 7-8 offsuit, This actually is the best play in this exact spot.
Right,
To just
yeah.
flat call
If
and
you know
hope-
what he has,
and hope
it's gotta
Jashti
be-
flops a 7 or 8 high flop or a 5-6
Oh,
flop
you know,
or a 9-10 flop.
Jasti's gonna shove if he hits an 8 or a 7.
Of course, and this could be absolute disaster for Jashti if he does flop top pair here. Can't imagine the Loke's flatting with an overpair in this spot from the big blind.
Yeah, the sad part would be to see if Loke loses the hand somehow.
King, king, deuce.
I mean, see him check and see what Jasti does.
And wow, I think I just. Okay, I thought Jasti said all in. Wow,
Okay,
I
yeah,
missed.
yeah. I thought he checked. You thought it's a,
5 on the turn.
if you check again here, there'd be. Does Jasti ever fire at this? I feel like he has a hard. Oh wow!
Wow, he's gonna bet it.
Now the only way that checking twice helps you, right, is if you're actually willing to call this bet.
Yeah, you definitely.
You're never.
Yeah,
you can't fold this.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got to feel really comfy in the spot.
So Loki's.
It's a really small bet.
Wow. He's just loving it.
And
Oh,
wow, now you're
I mean, it
really
doesn't
loving
matter.
it.
You
Now
check
you're
again.
praying to God that
Yeah.
Jasti was checking back an ace king, a king queen.
What a way
queen
to
jack,
bust in the
a
tournament,
king
because
jack.
you think Jasti's firing again.
And Jasti's gonna fire again.
But it's like, is it really firing if you're betting? Oh my gosh!
Wow, he's just giving
140K?
Look these chips. And hey, what do I know, right? I said that he should have shoved here, and look, he got the
Apparently,
absolute max value in this spot by flat calling pre-flop, check calling the turn, checking the river to induce. Jasti goes for the bluff of the side pot. Look, shoves all in. You got to feel like Jasti has a king
No, I
here
think
with
he
the way
just
the hand was
called,
played.
right? No, I think he just called.
What?
I don't think my hand can hit your hand. That's it.
He just called?
Wow. That's where you're.
Did he really just flat call the river with tens?
I think so. Well, what is happening?
What is going on? I'm so confused right now. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't think that's correct. He had 9-9, not 10s.
What is going on right now?
I saw
Obviously,
9-9.
something
Something's
is
wrong with the screen.
With
yeah.
the screen. Either
There's
Loke
no-
did not have tens, or I don't know what. I'm very
So
confused.
he folded 10s? Because
He definitely didn't have tens.
Or excuse me, he folded what he folded. It looked like he called
He threw
and
a chip
lost.
out and lost. What the heck is going on? Did Jasti? I'm so confused.
Graphics are wrong. Jasti had king 10. Where are we getting that from? 7, 8.
Jasti had king 10.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
I am so confused right now. What the heck is going on?
And I didn't see his hand like when he turned it over. Jasti had 7, 8 offsuit. And then
I am so
Yeah, but
confused. What happened? Did he lose? It looked like Loke called the river. It looked like he threw a chip out.
yeah, that's why I'm confused.
So
Because
obviously he didn't have pocket tens. We know that. And obviously Jasti did not have 7. I'm so confused what's going on right now.
well, that makes a lot more sense if he didn't have 7, 8.
If we could get someone, did someone see the hand that Jasti flipped up? It looked like it was a king.
It was king
A
10.
king 8 or something?
Versus 10 10, so it was sick.
I don't know what's
I
going
don't.
on right now.
It
I'm
couldn't have
very
been
confused.
king 10 versus 10 10s. Guy check calls for. Nice outing in this tournament. Graphics are wrong. Jasti is Jason, and he's didn't win. Going to the booth review. I don't know. That's kind of nuts.
And Sean is getting super hyper aggro here and raising with 9-4 offsuit with a dead button from essentially the cutoff.
Monster hands, thanks. If you're actually reviewing, we're going to the booth. Oh, and Loke's getting in there with 9.
Maybe these aren't the whole cards of the players, because I'm pretty shocked that Sean's raising 9-4 here. I'm surprised that Loke is calling from the small blind with 9-7. I don't know what's going on right now. This is
Yeah,
madness.
I feel like maybe something happened. Do we just get hacked?
Seriously. And now steamed milk and big blind with ace 10.
Oh, that's true. He did.
Oh,
The
he
7-8 was from the previous hand. That
Okay.
is the hand that he was showing before. So maybe this is.
So Jasti had king 8 and Loke had something else. Okay, that makes sense.
So 9s. Okay. What was the overlay game? Would be nice
Yeah, we
if-
apologize, everyone. There was a
Yeah.
little
Yeah,
slip up there from the misdeal.
Yeah. Is this really 9-4 versus
And
9-7?
I guess we have 9-4, 9-7 going to the flop here. I have a hard time believing these are the real hands, but we'll see what goes
Especially
on.
that you would flat from the small blind
Yeah, I don't think this
with
is right.
9-7 offsuit. Yeah. It'll be. Let's see if we can actually see. So it's check, check, flop.
I believe Sean has not checked yet. He's
okay.
Firing
check,
a C-bet.
shove. Which I feel like makes it even less likely that he has 9-4.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could have 9-4. If he decides to open raise 9-4, you know you're not going to flop very much.
Right,
he's just looking to take down a big pot now. I mean, there's 220,000 in the middle. You've got Loke covered by over 200,000 for a comeback in case you get called.
We're not 100% sure the hands are correct, but as it's showing now, Sean has 9-4 opened late from the hijack.
But I mean, yeah, honestly, if Sean did really have 9-4 here, if he really does have 9-4 and he open raises from the hijack, with the fact that Loke calls from the small blind, it comes a rag flop. What are the chances this flop connected with Loke? Sean D has a ton of full equity by just shipping here and taking it down. He's got Loke covered by over 200,000 to make a comeback, just in case he gets snapped off.
Yeah, this is really interesting. This is one of those spots.
How sick would that be if Loke decided to call there with a gutter ball and his 9-7 kicker played?
Yeah, that'd have been gross. I think that's kind of has an overpair. Really, we're not seeing what he had, so let's just go off of what it said, 9-4. I mean, Sean is raising in late position. He is aggressive. It's not outside the realm of possibility to do this opening and then shoving that flop when it gets checked to him after you just call.
Yeah.
So it's completely reasonable. And then obviously if you have 9-7 there, Loke's folding.
You can't call.
Makes some more sense. Huh. That'd be interesting. That's the kind of stuff that Sean would do that like other players at the table are not going to win the hand if you have 9-4 offsuit.
No.
So I'm going to just stick with the idea that he has it. I'm assuming that it doesn't get messed up by that much. Obviously the big hand with Jashti was a bit confusing there, but I'm not quite sure why Loke decided to call from the small blind with 9-7 off. Is it just one of those things where Sean's reputation gets him a call in a spot where maybe he wouldn't normally get a call? I don't know.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
That's why they can't have any things. Didn't they just get a new setup? Rigged, yeah. That's funny. Not 100% sure what is going on. It looks like there's 11 minutes left at the current level. 15,000, 30,000. 7 players remain. Huan was knocked out on that hand that Jashti won. And 10K up top. $10,400 up top. Is this the second new setup? I'm not really sure in terms of the setup. I don't know how many sets of RFID cards they have. So they had the same 20 minutes ago.
And Jasti's looking at King Queen offsuit under the gun. Definitely going to see a raise here from him. 7 players left. Blinds are 15,000, 30,000.
We're trying to get 10 hands per level in here. We're doing pretty good over here with that.
And it looks like we have a raise.
Making it 80?
Right around 75,000 or so.
Bring the closer deck. Need to update the chip counts. Yeah. That's true. After that hand, it said Jashti had 6 bigs.
There it is.
He's one of the bigger
There
sets.
it is. 696K. There it is.
Yeah, we are live now. Jashti with chips is kind of dangerous too, in a different way than Sean, I think. Because Jasti's completely capable of doing something that you would never expect, right?
Yep. Oh my, OMG, it's variance. Wayne, what up? And looks like we got a 3-bet here from Sean. Big stack on big stack action, and wow,
It's Bob
an
standing up
immediate 4-bet all in
from Loke.
from Loke on the button.
Things are heating up.
We do not know the hands yet, but this is going to be a really big pot regardless of the hands. Is going to be a big one. So we have a raise to 75K
Whoa,
from Jashti, a 3-bet to
What an
175.
aggro- That's a pretty...
And Loke, wow, with the 4-bet shove, he's deciding I have 7 big blinds and I don't care what the action is. This is my spot. I'm getting it in. And if Sean does have an overpair, nope. This is going to be a really sick coin flip. I'm imagining Jashti is going to fold, Sean's going to call, and Loke is going to have a coin flip situation to triple up with all the dead money.
Yeah. Wow. That's how fast things change when you've got 8 players with the like 20.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a sick spot. I mean, obviously, wow.
It's like, what's taking Jashti so long? Do you think he is thinking that Sean is either short enough, and I don't know. I feel like Sean's aggressive enough, but King Queen just isn't going to get it done if you're thinking about trying to play here, especially since if Sean's probably going to call. And then you can move up a pair jump.
The action's reopened here, yeah. So if you call, if you're Jashti, you know that Sean's going to have the option to Oh, actually, no. It's capped at 217. So if Jashti calls, Sean is not going to be able to reopen the action. It'll will go through as a flop, but nope.
And since it's capped, you can probably call there.
Yeah, I don't think so. Sean's not going to be messing around here. I think Ace Jack's just about the worst hand. He's 3-betting in the spot.
Yeah.
And here we go. Loke with the pretty much dream scenario with the current action behind him with a raise and a 3-bet from the 2 big chip stacks.
Yeah, to still be slightly
You are
ahead.
very happy to be flipping a coin in the spot. You got to be pretty sick if you're Sean. 3s really should have folded, but here we go. A big coin flip. 577,000 in the middle. 466.
Ooh. And
Sean
it's like
with a backdoor spade draw, also looking for a 4 to counterfeit
outs,
Loke's
yeah.
3s to the turn. And there it is.
Wow.
The 4.
In before someone in the chat says, "Oh, Sean wins the hand on
Loke
the
is
stream."
now looking for a 4 or a 6 for a chop or a 3 for the win.
Oh,
that won't
man.
do it. Sean knocks out Loke in 7th place. Great run. Nice $1,200 payday. And now we've got our first player to reach the 1 million mark. Sean Drake, ladies and gentlemen, with 1 million in chips. Massive chip leader now. 6 players left.
Yeah, that's
First
sick.
place prize of 10,451. The number one thing on Sean's mind right now.
So with 9 players left, Loke was the number 1 chip stack with like a third of the chips in play, just under that.
Yeah, 36.
And he
yeah,
goes
there it
out
is.
in
Wow.
8th.
Yeah, Sean Drake.
Or 7th.
All
excuse me.
in with 9 players left with 4-3 offsuit against Pocket Kings, all in free flop.
Here comes the comments. What a surprise. Sean wins a hand on the stream. Wait, Sean won a coin flip.
In OMG variance, yes, that's Mike Postel. They're in seat 2.
Yeah, that's wow. So Sean, yeah, all in with 3 or 4 bigs
Yeah.
from the big blind with 3-4 offsuit against Jashti and made a full house.
Yeah. Flop,
Just a full house.
Flop 2 3s.
Flop trips, yeah. Pretty much flopped the joint on that hand. So now he's got all the chips. 1 million chips is not a bad spot to be in.
And yeah, you can see
And he's gonna press now too.
he is going to press. Looks like we got a raise to 75K, 2.5 times the big blind. With Ace 3 suited. Should get Steen Milk to fold his Ace 6 suited here.
So if you're Mike, are you perfectly content folding so much of your hand, like so much of your range, and just letting Sean kind of run over people for a couple
yeah, I
hands?
mean, he's obviously still waiting for his spot. He's gonna be willing to get in a little lighter now with Sean raising a little wider as he knows, but
I can beat.
yeah, he's just moving up the payout ladder and loving life right now.
Probably beer pong.
Jashti trying to decide whether to defend with 9-5 offsuit.
I have seen Over the Top, the Sylvester Stallone movie about arm wrestling, so maybe it's not going to be as easy as you think it is. I'm just kidding. Are you much of an arm wrestler, Mike?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
It's funny, though. Poker players seem to find ways to gamble on almost anything. Paper, rock, scissors, arm wrestling.
D-Gen's at work.
I feel like this is too much time to be contemplating calling 9-5 offsuit.
Yeah, I mean,
like you're either calling or you're folding.
He really wants to get in a pot there with Sean. It's just definitely not a good spot to defend.
That's the thing too. Like if you're playing against a player like Sean, do you really want to go to battle with 9-5 offsuit out of position?
No.
Yeah. Why would you go in there if you're so good? He has no poker face. 3-point competition. Yeah, that's true. Any kind of betting. I know during the World Series there's a basketball hoop out there, and I'm sure, I would guess that there's quite a decent amount of money that passes hands.
I would guess
on that
so.
basketball hoop behind the World Series of Poker. Maybe more than some of the tournaments. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. There probably is some massive prop bets we don't know about the hoop.
The prop bets that nobody knows about. I mean, if people are handing out, or not handing out, but betting $500K on bike rides to LA or whatever, I think it's not impossible. So you're getting that. Why is the hat turn around? Yeah. Thanks, Maztec.
Folds around to steam milk now in the cutoff with 10 big blinds with King Jack suited.
Yeah, and
that's a great shove spot.
In spots where you feel like you have to shove, it's nice to have a hand.
Of course.
That you're like, okay, I feel good about this.
And he takes down the blinds and antes. Steamed milk, definitely picking his spots really nice.
Looks like 2 minutes left in this level before we go to 2040.
Yeah, these blinds are going to get big. It's going to totally change this game.
I mean, and Sean, man, if we were talking about no chops before, probably not even close to talking about a deal in this spot, where you actually have playing chips.
No, Sean's gonna go for the win.
5 players who are pretty short.
Anyways, unless he gets a really good deal.
Yeah, and obviously Mike is, like you said, he'll probably 3-bet lighter against Sean's opens because Sean's opens are probably going to be lighter. But what do you do with the other guys? Jashti knows the same thing Mike knows.
Yep.
Obviously, he's looking for a spot to play back, but is he going to take the opportunity? And Mike's not loving looking at 6-3 offsuit. Yeah, Mike P's about to double up. Well, he did make a full house, so he tripled up, which is when he was short and all in before.
Folds to Jimmy Z, playing 14.5 big blinds in the cutoff. 3 hands behind him. Looks like he's cutting out a raise here with Queen Jack offsuit.
Is this just one of those times where you can't really do that? You have to shove? Or is 14 bigs? You're okay
this
with?
is totally a comfortable spot to raise. It's the definition of a raised fold spot. It's putting pressure on the blinds. You're going to take down the blinds and antes a lot. You're going to go to the flop.
Oh, he has 346. I thought he was shorter than that.
Yeah, he started with 416K, so basically 14 bigs.
Oh, and Jashti actually has a hand you can consider.
And I mean, really, with Jimmy's been playing pretty tight. He has been opening a little wide on the button, but we haven't really seen him raise a whole lot from any other spot other than the button.
Jasti's definitely capable of raising here.
It's fine to call here. I would really like to just, honestly, with all the stacks being so short and everything, I would definitely lean towards folding here.
Because now you're in that spot as Jashti that Lokewood's. You have some chips. You can sit back and let the smaller stacks take each other out, kind of. Move up a couple pay jumps. Right now, I think 6th place is...
But
Jasti's not one to sit back.
He is not one to sit back.
Let's see. 6th place is guaranteed 1587. So that's what's on the board. The next pay jump's about 550, something like that, or 680. Did he 3-bet?
He 3-bet to 270.
He likes to 3-bet Jimmy Z. Has been successful so far.
Yep. Jashti and Sean D are 2 big chip stacks.
I think that'll be a fun, if that is the heads-up match. I think that would be entertaining.
It will be. Yeah, it definitely would be.
It sounds like we're going on a 10-minute break. Is that? Did you hear that as well? Or they're about to go on in 10 minutes. I think they're going on break.
Okay.
That makes more sense. I was like, they're going to stop the clock with 10 minutes left on the play. Take a 10-minute break. Folding makes you a lot of money. Yeah, the pay jumps. This is where the pay jumps were actually big. The first one was like $200, so that's not bad. But this one's like, like $600 or something like that. Plus, you got to think too. You're only 5 spots from 10K.
Yeah, this is where the money gets significant right here.
Like a chat hold'em bot. Pay jumps get girls. Folding makes you a lot of money. No breaks. They voted no breaks. All right, 2 birds, 1 gambling stone. So let's see. Well, Jashti is aggressive if he's anything, and that has paid off so far.
It's definitely paid off. He's taken all the aggressive spots, all the 3-bet takeaway spots he could on late position raises. He's open raising with ace-9 as he should, especially with big blind being super short. And he takes down another pot, creeping up on Sean's chip lead.
Mike folds 3 deuce and says all he needs is queen 9. So He knows his range, his calling range is pretty light, but he can't even get that high. 3 deuce suited. Yeah, the tournament started at 10 a.m. I would guess guys like Mike and Sean probably did not start at 10 a.m.
Could have mowed lawns all day and made $1,600. Well,
It was pretty hot outside today.
Well, please tell me where these lawns are, and I'll be mowing them next Sunday if I can get $1,600.
Those
for it.
Granite Bay lawns. It's like
I'll become a professional lawnmower if I'm getting paid $1,600 a day. I'll tell you right now.
I
Call me.
doubt he's mowing one lawn.
You can change my name to Michael Lawnmower.
You know, that said, there's probably somebody paying $1,600 to have their lawn mowed. And my guess would be he's a poker player. So it looks like they're, at the very least, coloring up chips. I don't know if they're taking the full break or not, but so far...
Yeah, I think we just have a little 8 or 9 minute bathroom break / get rid of the black chips break, and coming back six-handed. Everyone's guaranteed $1,587. US dollars?
Yeah, US dollars. Sean Drake, that's his last name, right?
Yes.
Drake is in first with over 1 million chips.
Yep.
Jasty's second. I think the short stack right now is Mike
Yes.
P, right?
Yeah, Mike's had a really card dead type of day. He's been waiting for his spots. He's picked his spots well. He hasn't had many spots. But he's still in there.
I'm getting like distracted by the chat a little bit. We're talking about mowing lawns for $1,600. Somebody said that the difference between playing this tournament or mowing lawns all day for $1,600, and no one thinks you're making $1,600 mowing lawns. Mowing lawns. And then the chat goes to some places. Let's talk about what's going on at Stones.
Let's talk about some upcoming events here at Stones. For those of you that are not aware, I'm really excited about this one. Monday, September 4th at 12 p.m. It is the Win the Button tournament. It's a $175 buy-in, $15K guaranteed. Every single hand. If you win the hand, you get the button the next hand. So if you win the button 5 hands in a row, then the players to your left are in the blinds for 5 hands in a row.
So wait, every hand?
Every single hand, the player that wins the last pot is awarded the button. So the button's going to be moving around every single hand, all over the table. It's not going to be the traditional blinds and antes, 1 spot to the left as is normal. This is going to be a very interesting dynamic. I'm really excited to see how crazy this makes people go. How much bluffing, how much ego. There's going to be a lot of metagame going on. I'm really excited about this one. This is going to be awesome. I'm definitely going to be here for it. Definitely going to play it. I'll definitely be firing 5 bullets into it.
What's the buy-in for that? $150?
It's a $175 buy-in.
$175.
It's the Win the Button tournament here at Stones. Monday,
That's
September
Labor
4th.
Day. 1 week
Labor
from
Day,
tomorrow.
1 week from tomorrow. Mark your calendars, 12 p.m. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be the talk of the town for at least a couple days. What a crazy dynamic that's going to be.
Yeah, you've got to be willing to get wild.
You win the pot, you win the button the next hand. Wow. It's going to be awesome.
Sounds like a perfect tournament for Sean, Jashti. Mike's obviously loving it.
I'm really excited.
I think when the pros
awesome.
are getting excited about a tournament, I don't know, maybe I'm going to sit that one out.
I think I'd have to imagine there's going to be a live stream on this one.
For sure. I think that is
I think there's going to be a live stream on that one.
The final table of that's probably going to get streamed.
That's going to be awesome.
You know, sometimes what tournaments do, and I'm guessing this is Win the Button the whole time, but they'll change the format for the final table. Hopefully it's just going to be Win the Button.
Yeah, no, there's no way. They're definitely going to keep it.
There's also the Fall Classic. Are you excited about this?
Yes, the Stones, $250,000 guaranteed Fall Classic, September 29th to October 8th. We've got a lot of great tournaments in there. There's the Chip Amplifier, where players will have the option to buy in at certain blind levels for different amounts of money, which will be given different amount of starting stacks. $120 buy-in at the first blind level, $550 buy-in at the last option to buy in for a bigger stack, $45,000 guaranteed. There's also the Assassin's Bounty, $300 buy-in, 35K guaranteed, and the main event, which is starting October 5th. It's a $450 buy-in, 150K guaranteed, with, as always, a very deep, great, slow blind structure.
3 starting days for that, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of good tourneys coming up here at Stones. I'm really excited.
You know, the Assassin's Bounty, I hadn't heard of that before, and I asked Justin about it, and he said that's where you can take your bounty chips and actually cash them in for tournament chips. So if you knock somebody out, you can actually add those chips to your stack
Interesting.
And I'm not sure if you can do that as sort of like a rebuy to kind of save yourself, but
You can add to your stack with instead
yeah.
of...
So that's what the Assassin's Bounty is. You can turn them in for tournament chips.
Okay.
So it'll have some kind of value. So that the bounty itself is 100, I think. And then if you decide you want to change it in for tournament chips, you can.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
I like it.
Super interesting tournaments coming. And then obviously everybody, all the guests. Jonathan Little.
We got some
Annette
big names. We
Oberstad.
got some big names here in the booth for those tourneys. Jonathan Little, Annette Oberstad, David Tuckman, and Commerce's tournament director Justin Hammer. They're all going to be in the booth for different tourneys. Definitely got to check it out for Stones Live when it's on the air.
Yes, that's the Fall Classic. 29th of September
Yes.
to October 8th. It's coming up. So it's a big month here in Stones. The Win the Button tournament. I know they're really pulling out a lot of fun tournaments. There's a Six Max tournament during that. Omaha. There is an Omaha tournament during that. There's pretty steady like limit Omaha games going on here at Stones.
Yep.
So an Omaha tournament for those guys and for anybody else who wants to mess around. $120, not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
For the buy-in. Is Trump gonna play? I don't know. I doubt it.
Probably not.
Probably not. But it's some pretty exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah, there'll be lots of there'll be some satellites, $60 buy-in and $110 satellites to get into the main event for cheap, starting on October 3rd.
It's a nice little six-max tournament.
There's a
You wanna
six-max
buy in,
tournament?
15K guarantee.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play that.
It sounds like Mike's gonna be pretty busy for this week.
That's gonna be good. Lots of good tourneys coming up.
I think Stones is cool. I particularly like non-Hold'em games usually, but Stones has made me more interested in playing Hold'em tournaments because I like it here. I like the crowd. It's fun.
Yeah.
Although the Win the Button tournament, I think, like I know how I would need to play that tournament. I'm just not sure that I'd be like super excited about playing it.
Man, I've never even heard. I guess that tournament has been played at other places a few times, I guess, but I've never heard of it. Like, Justin told me about it, the Win the Button tournament, and I have never even heard of that concept, never thought about that concept. It's still intriguing to me. I'm still so excited just to see how much people are raising and how much people are 3-betting and 4-betting, and if it really does change the play a lot, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think for sure you're going to get spots you aren't running into normally.
Yeah.
You're probably, if you're not willing to open your 3-bet range,
I was gonna say, I've got some ideas.
then you should probably not come. But if you want to explore the space with your 3-bet range, that's why I think a guy like Jashti might be good in that, or he's obviously good in this format. So I'm not saying that he's not good in this format, but that might play to some kind of strengths for him because he is doing some odd stuff with some weird opens and some maybe 3-bets that you wouldn't see coming, and he's probably going to have the button a decent amount of the time depending on who's at his table.
Yeah.
Because he's willing to put chips in.
No, it's very true.
The tournament will end in 15 minutes. Is that what? You know what? It's not impossible. We're coming back to 2040.
We're coming back to
with 3 mil in play.
20,000, 40,000 blinds now coming back here in 20 seconds. Stacks are going to be extremely short. We're going to see a lot of confrontation all-ins in the very near future here. For those of you that are just joining us, thanks for tuning in. This is the final
table.
six
Six,
players
yeah,
left?
six.
We are six-handed right now. We're getting back to the action. The final 6 out of 150 players. This is the Stones' last Sunday of the month. $300 buy-in, $30K guaranteed. The prize pool reached $38,700. Everyone's still vying for the first place prize of $10,451 and a seat into next month's last Sunday of the month tournament. Thanks everyone as always for keeping the chat very entertaining and lively. We appreciate it, and
Steamed milk cooled
enjoy
off,
reading
and
your
now
guys'
he's
stuff.
just milk apparently. It sounds like Mike's trying to possibly convince everyone to go all in. I'm not sure if I heard that right, but I think Mike may have opened up
wouldn't put it
the
past
door
him.
to like a potential everybody shove kind of situation. Yeah, we're just coming back from break. 40 minutes in this level, 2040. It wouldn't be a huge surprise to see a lot of people leave the tournament in this level.
yeah, there's going to be a lot of shoving as there's at least 4 players that are under 10 big blinds now.
So it looked like Steam Milk opened and Pip shoved. 3-bet shoved.
No, we got
And then Team Milk's going for it.
Oh, so here we go. So Pip open shoved for 4.5 big blinds, and unfortunately for him, he made the correct shove here with Jack 10. He runs into an absolute brick wall. Steamed Milk waking up with the queens.
Oh wow, okay.
in
So
the
he
big
put in the
blind.
big blind. That was okay. Yeah, that's just unfortunate.
And Pip hoping for a miracle here. 3, 4, 5. Pip now hoping for a chop, some kind of 6 or deuce or ace or 7 on the turn. For him
Running
would be
jacks,
great.
whatever. Oh, not
Nope.
even close. Yeah.
And Pip is drawing dead. He is our 6th place finisher. Great run, Pip. Pip, it ain't easy. $1,587 payout. Nothing to be.
Yeah. It's
Great
one of those
run.
spots where
It's
you
a
see
good
Jack
score.
10, you
It's a
have
good
to
score.
shove.
He
and
played. I really like how he played. He played a good game and kind of went card dead for a little while at the end there and made a totally standard shove with 4.5 big blinds with Jack 10 from the cutoff, and instead of getting called from the big blind, hoping to be drawing live or at least 1 over or something, you know, runs into the absolute brick wall with queens. Nothing you can do about that. Good game, Pip. Mike Postle loving life, moving up the payout ladder just by chilling back as the short stack.
Just hanging out. Maybe he's
Hanging
not
out.
so mad about
He's not-
not getting queen
Nah.
9 in those spots.
He's now guaranteed $2,167, which is our 5th place prize money. Mikey
Yeah.
P looking down at 4, just over 4 big blinds.
That's true. The 3 biggest stacks are now out of the tournament when we started 9-handed.
Yes.
Goes
wow.
to show you how kind of wild it's running. So Loke, Huan, and I think, was it Pip?
Jashti was actually 3rd, barely.
Jashti. Okay,
Just
so
barely.
but Pip was in 4th. So
Pip was virtually tied with Jashti when we started for 3rd. Mike looking at 7-3, one of the very few hands he unfortunately has to fold there on the button with 4.5 big blinds.
Yeah, you gotta hate
He's
that. That feeling.
he's shoving a massive range right there and
Jack 4
just has to wait for a better spot. And Steamed Milk trying to decide what to do here. It's folded around him in the small blind with Jack 4 offsuit.
It's kind of nuts
Is
because
he might be contemplating a fold here. He might be contemplating maybe to limp in. He might be contemplating whether to put a little raise in and keep the aggression on Jimmy to take down the blinds. Not exactly sure what he's thinking. He's definitely thinking something here. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do. And he opts to limp in. Hopes that Jimmy just checks as he does, and we are going to go to the flop. 105,000 in the middle. Queen 4 deuce. Both
wow.
players get a piece of this. Steamed Milk, aka Cliff in the small blind in seat 5.
Just open
flops
shove?
middle pair and puts a pretty hefty bet out. Looked like about 100K into a 100K pot.
I think I
And
heard the
takes it
dealer
down.
say all in.
Did
So
he
I
say
think
all in?
I think he may have just open shove, connected with the flop and open shove. It worked.
It worked.
Do you think he does that if he doesn't flop a pair there?
No, I think he was definitely looking to flop something there.
Yeah.
And here we go, our current chip leader, Sean Drake, 35% of the chips in play with $1 million. Jashti and just on his heels with 28% of the chips, just under 1 million.
Yeah, definitely Mike seems frustrated not getting some hands.
Mike's definitely
to shove
frustrated, but you
and
know,
stuff.
for how short he's been and how card dead he's been, to even be in this spot right here,
Yeah, fifth place money.
5th place money locked up, $2,100 payday, and he still has a lot of room here to get his stack up and get a double up, and
He was the bottom stack, not by much, but when we came in 9-handed, he was the shortest stack.
yep.
3 guys were pretty short with him. Let's see, who were the other
If
guys?
anybody can do it, Mikey Postle can
the
do
3
it.
guys that were short with him, Steam Milk, still in the tournament, and who's the other one? Shane. Shane busted though. But two of the 3 shortest stacks when we were 9-handed are still in the tournament, and 2 of the 3 biggest stacks are gone.
Sean Drake looking down at ace-6 suited. He's going
Let's
to come
keep
in for a
shoving
raise
range
to
this
start off the
far.
action.
Oh, it looks like R. Lucchese says, "What's your shoving range this far in the tournament?"
What's up, Ralph? I mean, that's depends how many big blinds you have. I mean, with a lot of these stacks, you know, under 10 bigs, you're shoving any ace and any pocket pair. King 10 plus in lots of spots. It really depends on the stack size and how many hands you have behind you, but lots of, a few, Jimmy and Mike here are shoving just about anything decent if it's open to them.
This is the spot that's sort of confusing to me is that, like, you're Jashti, you have a second in chips. Sean, the guy who has the most chips, just opened.
Yeah, but you got queen deuce. Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, why
really
would
to
you
think
even
about here.
consider? Like, yeah, that's my question. Like, why are you even considering this? Not only does the guy you're playing against have all the chips, right? But there's so many stacks that are super short. You can use all those chips and maybe pick off a short stack instead of even contemplating messing with Sean. Yeah, I don't know. There's funny things happening in the chat right now. They keep saying, like, why would you do this when you could do this for so much a day? Apparently you can pick cans for 5K a day. I mean,
You guys gotta tell me where
there's probably
where to
somebody
go for these things.
There's probably somebody who's done that. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's a lot of cans.
That's a lot of cans.
Are you also robbing someone in the middle of picking cans? I don't know. But you know what you can do? You can come to the last Sunday tournament at Stones, put in your $300 and maybe win 10K.
And the question here by MJ, 4 big blind is any 2 card shove? Definitely not. As evidence right there, Jack 3 is a fold. I'd much rather just fold under the gun with Jack 3 and just most likely roll with the big blind, depending on, you know, if there's only one raise and you've got a playable hand, it's most likely just going to be a roll with the big blind spot.
So would you say, obviously there's no like auto shoves, you're shoving a large percentage of your
You're
range,
shoving a very large percentage, but not 100%.
But what are you looking for? You're looking for coordinated hands? Like, obviously, like Jack 3 is not great, but
yeah,
maybe
I mean,
like...
with 4 big blinds right there, I mean, you're shoving any ace, any pocket pair.
Yeah, maybe
you're
like
probably realistically shoving any ace, any king.
Fair show.
Queen 8 plus, Jack 8 plus, 9-10, 8-9 suited, 7-8 suited.
Wants to limp the small blind check from Sean. The 2 biggest stacks at the table. I can't see if anybody's going to jump into like aggressive. It would probably be Sean.
Yeah. And notice the check back from Sean. He's very aware that Jashti is the type of player who's very capable of limp raising. He's got a very nice ace-6 suited and just decided to play it safe and check back. And I really like the check back here and not open raising pre-flop on Jasti's limp, because he is the type of player who might just limp raise you all in with nothing.
Yeah.
Blow you off your hand.
Are you betting here? When he checks to you
It's been
twice?
checked to you twice. I mean, I think you can go either way. Jasti's pretty dang aggressive, so when he checks twice, you have to imagine he's got nothing. Ace high is probably good here, and you might even be getting value from something like Jack 10 or...
Are you reading anything into the way that he's checking? Because the way Jashti did that, he kind of is sitting back and he does the one chip tap.
There's
Do you think
definitely...
that's kind of
yeah,
like
I mean,
weak
it
check?
definitely looked weak. I mean, there's definitely some live reads are definitely a real thing, and Sean's definitely going to be pleasantly surprised if he checks back here to show this down and win with ace high. Will Sean check back?
Jashti called?
And yeah, Jashti
Turn?
check called the turn with Jack high.
Interesting. Yeah. I would have thought he might take it down there with the bet on the turn.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Jashti check called. I mean, with the queen on the turn, you could easily be drawing dead.
That's where like the perceived... I think sometimes people perceive a guy like Sean as aggressive enough where they start to think like, yeah, they're playing aggressive, but at the same time, maybe you need something to actually call them with. You can't just call them with air.
I'm definitely check folding that turn if I was the Jack 7. I'm never going to call on a spot like that where I'm completely drawing dead to a weak queen. You've got no draw. You're going to have to check fold every river. I mean, you can't even really check call if a Jack hits once it's bet twice. I'm really confused.
Yeah, you're checking, and then what amount are you calling? It would be, I don't know. It seems kind of irresponsible to give any more chips to
Irresponsible.
Sean. In that, you know what I mean? If you're thinking in terms of you have the second biggest stack, and maybe he's not as aware of it as we are because we're looking at the chip stacks all the time.
Yep.
But that's definitely, would you suggest that that's something that players should think about? It's like, what do your opponents have left?
Yeah, exactly.
How many chips do you have left? You know, pay jumps. This is where those kinds of things come into play. You know, when a lot of, like what you were saying earlier, the hands are pretty straightforward. It's like you're shoving this hand, you're calling this hand, those kinds of things.
And I believe Jimmy, yes, has shoved all in with pocket threes. And as I said, fold the jack three under the gun and pretty much roll with the big blind. And Mikey's got to love this spot to call here with 9-10 offsuit and be facing an absolute coin flip against Jimmy. Jimmy will be absolutely crippled if he loses this. Mikey P's life is on the line and is looking for a 9 or a 10 on the board. 345,000 in the middle to the flop we go. 6-5-6.
Same spot where the lower pair could get counterfeited.
Mikey P hoping for a 5, a 9 or a 10 on the turn. King of hearts.
Oh, wow.
Really bad turn card for Mikey. Mike is now going to need a king, a 5, or a non-heart 9 or 10. And there it is.
Oh,
Boom.
wow.
Wow. The 9 of spades on the river.
Here comes everybody in the chat. Oh,
Whee!
Mike got lucky. Here comes Mike winning a hand on
And
stream.
once again, you got to win flips to win tourneys. Mike P, even though it was a super sick run out, it was a 50%.
I think Mike's going to be okay with doubling there.
Of course. It was a coin flip pre-flop. It was a sick run out for Jimmy. He is now crippled with 95,000.
Mastek says he called
2.5 big
it.
blinds.
I told you. No cabs. John Drake and Mike P should have been out 2 hours ago. You know, yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously you have to get lucky if you have 10-9 off or 3-4 off against a shove, but this may be a spot where making the correct decision pays off, where you have to call and you call, and Mike and Sean both know that they have to, and then you just have to get lucky.
Yeah.
Crystal
Jimmy
balls,
Z is now starting off for action and is definitely going to get this all in here with Queen Jack suited with 2.5 big blinds. Definitely got to shove this rather than rolling with the blind. Gosh, what bad luck for Jimmy. A great comeback spot for Jimmy. He just runs into the brick wall, and this is just a perfect spot to flat call if you're Jashti. Flat call the 90, induce people behind you. You want action behind you.
Did he just call?
He just
it looks
calls.
like he called, yeah.
Definitely the right play.
Oh, Mike.
Mikey P looking to possibly get in there with Queen 10 suited.
He could probably call here, for sure.
It's a great call spot by Mike.
Wow. So, if you're Jashti, the upside of calling with aces is that you get more action.
You get more action.
You also just opened Mike up to a really decent spot where it's getting a really great price with a really solid hand, Queen 10 suited.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just the dream spot for Jashti. I mean, long term, you want the big blind to call here as well. I mean, most likely you're not going to get out-flopped by your aces are not going to get out-flopped. If someone else behind you flops top pair or some kind of big draw, they're going to get it in with you, and you're going to get even more value on your hand. And it looks like Steamed Milk is going to call here for 50,000 more, and it looks like we're going to have a multi-way
Is this a call
bloated
for you
pot.
right here, 9-8 off? Because I know some people can talk themselves into this because of this whole priced-in idea, but
I really think that this, in this exact spot, this is a defend. You're closing the action for 50K. You're looking to flop perfect. There's a ton of money in the middle.
it's easy to get away on.
It might even get to an opportunity where you get to a free turn card because people might be more inclined to be check down player out in this kind of spot. And here we go to the flop. 9-3-4, and this is what Jashti was hoping for. Steamed Milk flops top pair nines, and he might even be willing to bet out here. He's probably thinking his 9-8 is good. There's a heart draw, there's a straight draw, and I think, wow, I think Steamed Milk has just shoved all in.
Yes, he did. He shoved all in. And
Jashti snaps, Mike gets out of the way, and the dream scenario, just like we were just talking about,
Wow,
aces,
Jashti might knock out
inducing
two players.
Steamed Milk to call from the big blind. And if his aces hold, which they will here 74% of the time, as you can see the percentage on the screen indicate, he is going to be
Put a diamond on the turn.
our
just for-
massive chip leader here. Jimmy Z with the 8% chance here with some backdoor draws. Deuce of hearts on the turn.
It's a great card.
Jimmy
for
Z
him.
will be knocked out. Steamed Milk looking for an 8 or a 9, or he is gone. And there it is.
Oh, Jashti takes out two.
Jashti gets the absolute dream. Flat calls those 2.5 big blind all in with aces. Gets the blinds to call. Big blind flops top pair and shoves all into him. And now he is our chip leader with, I believe, right around 2 million in chips. And we are three-handed now.
Who said ace is in trouble? So Jimmy Z gets 5th place because he started with
So Jimmy
shorter.
Z gets 5th place. He started the hand with the shortest stack. with a shorter stack than Steamed Milk. He will be our 5th place recipient of $2,167. Great run by Jimmy.
I think
nice payday.
Steamed Milk might be steamed again. A little steamed.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate spot for him. I can't fault him for the shove on the flop. And we are now going to be 3-handed. Steamed Milk, a.k.a. Cliff. Great run to you too, buddy. A very nice payday. 4th place money.
And somehow Mike
4th place money of $3,000.
Mike is guaranteed 3rd place money.
The 3 players here that came in with by far the biggest resume of tournament scores. Mikey P and Jashti both with just under $500,000 in tournament wins up to this point. Sean Drake with $1.2 million in tournament wins at this point. And all 3 of them now are the final 3 here. Mikey P winning that river flip with 9-10, squeezing down in the top 3.
Yeah, wow.
Beautiful.
Feels good.
Absolutely
Feels
beautiful.
Good. What was in the pot before he shoved? Oh, just to clean up. Let's see. That hand,
It was a 95, 95, 95. There was around $400,000 in the middle.
It's a huge pot.
So it's a very big pot.
The weird part. Well, I guess that seems pretty sensitive. So maybe that's. I don't know. That's just unfortunate. You flop top pair. I mean, he's probably not getting away with that. Away from it in this spot in the tournament. Are you getting like what?
I definitely don't think you should be going broke right there on the 9-8 with.
So you're checking.
I'm definitely checking, and I mean if Jashti bets big enough, I mean, what are you hoping he has right there? I mean, at the very worst,
sure, he did flat.
At the absolute very worst, you're going to be running into. I mean, he's not going to be bluffing once the blinds both call on that flop. So I mean, at the very worst, you're going to be hoping he has what 2 overs and a flush draw, and you're flipping a coin. I mean. I'm not saying it's a check fold spot, but I'm saying it's definitely not a. I don't think it's necessarily a go broke spot. It's definitely not an open shove spot. You're shoving 550 into 400 in a spot where you're only getting called if you're beat.
Was there draws there, like flush draws?
There was a flush draw. It's not a bad play. It's a totally fine shove, but I think you can find a way to get away and lose.
I mean, it worked out perfectly.
I think it's definitely a spot where you should check, see what Jashti does, make your decision from there. But here we are. All 3-handed. All 3 players now are guaranteed just over $4,300.
Mike is no longer upset about folding all those
no
lines.
longer upset about being card dead. Our 3 heavy hitters, as I said, with the biggest Hendon mobs and tournament results up to this point, are our 3 finalists.
That's funny too, because Mike, when they went 3-handed, said, "I'm going to refuse an even chop." He's in a good mood, making some jokes. Yeah, I mean, you got to feel good if you're Jashti, because when you limp,
yeah, I mean,
obviously you're doing that to maybe induce
if you're and thinking about it more, you know, if you're 8-9 there, I don't see any fault at all with betting the flop, but definitely not a shove. There's 400,000 in the middle, maybe bet. Between optimally, if you're gonna bet, I would think betting around 125,000 is gonna get all the. If Jashti and Mike P have non-pair hands right there and no draws, they're not gonna mess around with you and stay in the pot unless you're beat. If you bet 125,000, 125K is enough, to take it down. If you're ahead, and it's small enough of a bet to bet fold. If you get raised by Jashti there, and you just know you're either flipping a coin at the absolute very best against 2 overs and flush draw, but most likely you're beat. He did flat call, and it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. It's definitely a tough spot.
If you bet 125K, Jashti calls, you're probably not betting the turn. So yeah, maybe you can avoid going broke there.
I think you can.
Theoretically, depending on how it plays out. Obviously, Jasti's pretty aggressive, so he might shove in a spot where maybe you wouldn't expect him to shove. Or
yeah, and I mean, maybe he checks there and Jashti shoves, and then I'm definitely one to put a lot on tournament life, so I'd be pretty hard pressed to go broke on that one, but it's definitely a tough spot.
Fourth, right?
It's definitely a tough spot.
I guess though he's still out fourth. Oh, it looks like Mike has King 10.
And looks like Mike and Jashti are getting all in here. Mikey's got the King 10, super standard shove. from the small blind with 5.5 big blinds. Runs into Jasty's ace-8. Mikey looking for a king or a 10. Almost 500,000 in the middle. To the flop we go. King 7-8.
Both of them get a piece.
Mikey is now an 80% favorite. Jasty's looking for an ace or an 8 to knock Mikey out in third. Deuce on the turn. Jashti now looking only for an ace or an 8. He's 12% to do so. Mikey holding his breath. And there it is.
Oh, wow.
The double up for Mikey.
Doubling it up.
And
we
now
almost got the heads-up match that I think... Well, I suppose any potential heads-up match in this spot would be interesting.
Yes.
But if they get heads-up, you would like to see them be like relatively even, and then maybe get a little bit of play heads-up. And that would have been that if Jashti wins that hand there. But Mike staying alive.
Staying alive. He's got 12 bigs now. He's back in the game.
Mike, you know, Prefontaine is actually didn't he die of cancer? So maybe Mike P does run a little bit better than Steve Prefontaine. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that he died at a young age. So I'm not sure. I guess in that sense he doesn't run like him because that's not great. Car crash. Oh, well, there you go. Thank you. I know that he is not a lot, but I guess he was a hell of a runner. So great job, Mike. Mike's like one of those steeplechase guys that just runs for miles and miles and never loses, right? Him, not drive like him. Runs like him, not drives like him. All right. Well, thanks for clarifying. Not a bad Sunday for Mike and Sean and Jashti here.
Not at all.
I feel like of these three players, all of them, if I'm guessing, have chopped or won this tournament before.
Probably.
I'm like,
Probably.
yeah. Mike is one of those get there guys. Well, you know, if you play a lot and you're good, you win, right? That's
right.
That's what everyone says,
Of course.
right? Preventing is a passer and trying. Yeah. All three of them have won. Yeah, see, there you go, Poker Pro Eric. All three of them have won this tournament before, so that's not a huge surprise. When you're looking at this table, they were the three people that I most recognized.
And it looks like we have a button raised to 105,000 from Jashti with Queen 4 offsuit. Sean is defending with mystery cards that he does not want to put on the display board for us to see, and we're going to the flop. 265K in the middle.
You just hold that ace on the window for like 30 seconds.
Ace 5-9 rainbow.
Brent's gonna get
See if we
tied
can
up
see
for being
Sean's
a
whole
homer.
cards.
He had his own line.
He checks, and definitely expect to see a Jashti c-bet here. If he's raising Queen 4 offsuit pre-flop, you have to expect him to be betting all flops, really. I mean, if you're going to be raising a hand like this that really doesn't flop well.
What did I do, Mastek?
He's very, very fortunate the Queen High flop didn't come here, else he'd be in a world of hurt. Unfortunately for Sean, it's just about one of the only flops you really can't check call and even float at all. Ace 5-9 rainbow, you got to be figuring to be drawing semi-dead against any ace. Jashti with the c-bet. Looks like a c-bet of 105,000, and this should do it. Looks like Sean might be cutting out raising
This is
chips.
red plaques, right? Or more?
And he calls with what is the best hand right now, King Queen High. 5 on the turn.
Does that make you like your hand more if you're Sean?
I mean, I think honestly Sean's just praying that Jasty's going to check back with nothing here, and that his King Queen High, if it is good, is just going to get down to showdown. If Jashti barrels here, I mean, you really can't imagine Sean continuing in this hand.
These guys have definitely played a lot against each other too, so I think that's part of the reason why Jashti sometimes takes his time, even with hands we think he's going to fold. He's
Sean,
thinking
yeah.
history and that kind of stuff.
8 on the river. I expect this to go check-check. I'd be pretty surprised. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be too surprised if Sean turns his hand to a bluff now and bets, but I have to bet a big percentage of the time this is going to go check, check.
If you're Sean too, like...
But nope, Sean's going to turn his hand into a bluff, an unnecessary bluff. Well, actually, he's avoiding a tough spot here, because if he does check, Jasty's very capable of bluffing at this river, and King-Queen now is a very, ultimately difficult, tough call.
What is that, like 450?
And as is the case for most of the time with Sean Drake in tournaments, well-timed aggression. Betting here in a spot where Jashti cannot continue.
350,000.
350,000
into what was like a 500k pot, roughly.
Yep, 350k into about 475 or so.
Mastak thinks that's way too big. I mean, in general, you're not trying to get called here, right? Like with that bet. Like, do you think that Sean's value betting King High?
Oh no, he's definitely turning his hand into a bluff at that point.
He's trying not to get called.
He's trying to fold out all the 8s and 9s, the mid pick, small 2 pairs there. Sean Drake takes it down, and
it's a pretty big pot.
That was a pretty big pot.
Jasty's still hanging in there though, with over $1 million. Mike P, 11 bigs and a dream, or at least like an afternoon nap dream, right? Like, I don't think Mike P spends a lot of time dreaming about winning 10K, but. Ace or 5 is never making pot river bet. Yeah, I mean, that's true, but it's hard for Jashti to call with Queen High.
And Mikey P's got just over 10 big blinds with Queen Jack offsuit. Expect to see a shove here.
Yeah.
Hand versus hand.
Ooh.
And this is a difficult spot for Jashti. I can't imagine him calling here for 10 bigs with King 6 offsuit. And Mikey takes it down.
Chipping up. Mike P. Got a Broncos hat on. That's pretty standard, right?
He is a diehard Broncos fan. That is his team.
He'll have plenty of money to go place a bet on the win total for the Broncos this season, maybe? I don't know.
What do you think it is? I'm not.
Okay, so I have no idea.
I'll say, okay,
but my guess for what the win total for the Broncos this season probably is like 9.5. If I had to guess, could someone look that up? That'd be interesting. If I had to guess,
no
they're
idea. I'm not
a
a
decent team with a good defense.
I'm a basketball guy. If it's not basketball, I don't know what's going on.
Well, okay, so what is the? What do you think got the better end of the deal? Obviously, let's say Isaiah Thomas is healthy. Who gets the better end of the deal with the Kyrie Isaiah Thomas
Celtics.
trade?
And anyone else that said anything else is just it's honestly been amazing to me. How many announcers and people I've been hearing say that Cleveland got the better end of the deal, which is just absolutely ridiculous to me. I mean,
well, Kyrie's the better player, but I think in a sense Cleveland gets a guy who's willing to role play.
Here's what they got. Cleveland got the best deal possible for their situation. They had to get rid of Kyrie. They got the best deal possible as long as Isaiah Thomas is healthy.
Right. Yeah.
But Boston definitely came out ahead on that one. It's not even close in my mind. Even with the first round pick that they got from the Brooklyn Nets, Cleveland got the best deal they could, but Boston definitely came out as the winner in that. I mean, Boston's. I'd be pretty hard pressed to think that if this trade doesn't get fallen through, which Cleveland now has the option.
Right, and I think they really want to keep it. Though, like they sound like they would just want more picks.
But yeah, I'd be willing to bet that Boston is going to be the favorite in the East this year. They're going to be the #1 seed, and I think Boston will knock Cleveland out of the playoffs if this trade goes through.
Yeah,
I'll predict that right now.
Nice.
In fact, I should look into those props.
By the way, apparently the Broncos win total is 8.5. So
is 8.5?
I thought it'd be somewhere around 9. They're a pretty good team, but yeah, that sounds like a solid bet. 8.5. I don't know. The divisions. Oh, that's not true though. The Raiders and the Chiefs, pretty good division. I guess that's pretty much right where it should be. Looked like Sean opened with pocket twos. Gets it through.
Yep.
Celtics lose an elite defender. I actually was listening to a podcast about the trade.
Jay Crowder is an elite defender, but, it's just opinions. It's just opinions. I think Kyrie is just so much better than Isaiah Thomas. I think that by putting Kyrie Thomas into that lineup now with Gordon Hayward, Al Horford,
they got a good team, good young team, good
Jason
coach.
Tatum is going to be a really good rookie.
The Bears still suck. That's funny.
Celtics definitely came out ahead. I think the Celtics got better, and the Cavs got worse.
Yeah.
And there's no other way to cut it. I think the Cavs got the best deal they could have possibly gotten, but
it sounds like Eric
Celtics
wants
definitely
to bet.
came out ahead.
He wants to make a bet right now.
Let's book a $100 bet right now. What's the bet, Eric?
Who has the
better record at the regular season? If this trade goes through, I'll take Cavaliers, and you go Celtics. Go for the playoffs.
Go further in the playoffs. That's it.
Sticking it to me. Send me a Eric. Send me. No, I'm not booking it right now. Okay, so you got me to back up a little bit, but send me a message on either Twitter or Facebook, and we will talk. And I might make that bet with you. I might make that bet.
What's interesting is the playoff, further in the playoff bet actually might be more beneficial to the Cavs depending on how the seeding works out. Plus, you've got LeBron.
I don't like betting against LeBron unless it's the Warriors. So
AFC West is the hardest.
But yeah, Eric, shoot me a message. We'll talk.
Yeah, this is. I don't know. I think Mike might bet that 8.5 win total for the Broncos.
Oh, of course.
I'm assuming, of course, that all people who play poker bet on sports as well, and I would say that's probably true in most of the cases. But three-handed here, third place is guaranteed. I just missed it; it just swung by. It's got to be like 4,300, I think, somewhere in that vicinity. So Mike, who came into the final table like 8th or 9th in chips.
Yeah, here he is.
Has rode the bottom wave all the way to third place money at least.
He's loving life. And here we go, back to the action now. Sean Drake opening to 90K. Blinds are 20,000, 40,000 on the button. Jashti again contemplating a really wide defend from the big blind. I can't imagine him defending here, but
it's crazy too because you get to a spot where you're three-handed when two guys have a ton of chips. You would think the majority of those people aren't going to try to play too many hands and try to wait for the short stack to get out, preserve your chip stack maybe so you can play heads up later. I don't know that Jasty's going to do that. I don't know. I mean, if he's actually considering defending here, yeah, I don't know. Be tough. Isn't there some sort of new kind of school of thought in tournament poker to defend like all of your big blinds?
I was gonna say I know. I've heard. I think Jungle Man and
well,
Daniel Cates, a couple other players that just defend 100% from the big blind when the button raises, which is just insane to me. But
it's also a different caliber of player than perhaps
their deeper stack.
True.
And there's that's just it's still crazy to me. But what's up, Domino? So Jashti does defend with a 10-3 offsuit. Sean flops top 2 with a very draw-heavy flop, praying to God that Jashti has some kind of draw. Something that can continue in this hand, as he has basically flopped the nuts here with top 2. 215,000 in the middle. Sean D and Jashti are chip leaders here at this point, three-handed. How much is Sean going to bet? Looks like a small bet.
70 into 215?
70K into 215, 1/3 of the pot. Hoping that Jashti can somehow continue. Hoping that his weak sizing will somehow induce a check raise.
Yeah, Sean needs to hope there's 2 more. I have a hard time believing Jashti can continue here, but Jashti has surprised us with less, I think.
Yeah, I expect him to make a disciplined fold here, but maybe he'll read this weak bet as weak. And obviously that's what Sean's hoping for.
It too. He's just like, but maybe it's exactly what Sean wants, is to make him consider it.
Of course.
Especially at this stage, anytime Sean is putting more chips in his hand with Mike short, I don't know. I feel like Sean could definitely pull away. They were 2 hands ago. They were even in chips, and now he's put a bit of a lead between him and put Jashti closer to the bottom. I mean, that's great for Mike in a sense. that a double and he's might be in second place.
And we are just 3 minutes away from these blinds getting really big. I don't know if the next, I'm imagining the next blind level is going to be 2550. But hey, it might jump to 3060. If it jumps to 3060, this tournament will be over relatively quickly.
All right, so third is 4373. Everybody's guaranteed 4373. Second is 6300. So 2K pay jump and then a 4K pay jump.
Yep.
And it's, to my knowledge, they were actually kind of talking about moving the numbers around a little bit, but there hasn't been a deal yet.
No, there's been no deal made. Payouts are as is.
And it's unlikely we're going to see a deal, I think.
No, I don't think so. Jashti in the small blind with pocket eights, trying to decide whether to limp in or if he does raise, how much. I expect to see a raise here. And from what we've seen from Jashti, I was going to say I'd expect it to be a little bit bigger of a raise here. And there it is. Looks like 145,000. And Sean folds 4 high.
It's like 3.5x or something like that.
Yep.
2 minutes left in this level.
Here's our current chip stack. Sean Drake with more than half the chips in play. 1.6 million of the 3 million total chips.
Sly Cry thinks Jasti's giving off some kind of
Live tells.
live tells of weakness. I mean, I definitely think that check, the casual, like, almost like frustrated check, for sure, looked weak to me.
Yeah.
More hand.
And Jashti now on the button with ace 10 offsuit. Definitely going to see a raise here. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us in the chat.
Yeah, we're going strong.
A lot of you guys are
good
here tonight. We really appreciate it. It's 1:20 in the morning if you're on the West Coast. It's a lot later if you're somewhere else.
If you're not already following, which I imagine if you're watching at this time of night, you're probably following already, but if you're not, hit the follow button, follow it. You can click the little drop-down menu and get
here we go. Mikey
email
P.
notifications.
Mikey P shoving back from the big blind.
I don't want to... We'll see what happens here. Ace 10, ace deuce,
Mikey
ace
has ace 6. All three players result in aces hand. Sean folded ace deuce.
Well, Mike's hoping for a...
Pretty standard shove back spot, really, with 10 bigs when you're facing a really aggressive button raiser. Unfortunate for him, he's dominated. King, Jack, 4. No help for Mikey. He's looking for a 6.
Yeah, a 6 or a 4?
Possibly a 4 for some chop options. A Jack. Good turn card for Mikey.
Yeah.
Mike is now looking for a 4 or a king for a chop. A 6 for the win.
Oh.
And it's a 7.
Not going to cut it.
And that'll do it. Mikey Postel. Mike Postel. 3rd place money. Great run. Great player. Great friend of mine. 3rd place money. Nothing to hold your head down about. He actually just came up to the booth and gave us a fake flash.
Yeah, that was
$4,373 to Mike. Great run.
I think that definitely shows you what you can do if you stay patient, right?
That's right.
He was clearly frustrated with the cards that he got, but decided that he was going to stick with it and pick his spots and did it.
And it looks like Sean and Jashti might be discussing some sort of deal.
I think they just said they're going to even chop.
Oh, really?
I think. Yeah, because Justin's taking him over to take a picture. I think they said chopping. It may not be an even chop, but it was some kind of deal that they probably agreed about it. He said he was going to chop second place.
Yeah, so it looks like as far as we're concerned, they basically have the same stack there. Sean and Jashti had about the same stack going heads up. They're both familiar with each other. They both know that they're top level players, and there's an extra, the difference between first and second was about, $4 grand?
4K, yeah, so they split the difference?
Probably split the difference there, and both walked away with over $8,000 in their pocket. Not bad for a Sunday afternoon here in Citrus.
I'm a little disappointed, because I would have liked to, it would have been interesting to see. Obviously the time, and then, both guys, they've been here all day.
Yeah, it just takes...
They're not going to stay for my sake, but it would have been interesting to see what a few hands heads up. But
it would have been very interesting, and they both know that there's a lot of different combinations of spots where they're flipping a coin now for $4,000.
True, right? You've gotten so deep, and it's like,
one
I can
player
take 2K now. Or...
One player gets pocket sixes heads up, one player gets ace 10. You're going to get it all in pre-flop. I don't think either player really thinks that their edge is that much bigger over the other person in that spot. Although they probably both think they have a little bit of an edge if they were to play it.
I mean, in order to be a poker player, right, you have to have that mentality.
The blinds were just a couple minutes away from going up to 30, 60, and both players would have, you know, effective short stacks, and yeah, great run.
Not too bad. Yeah, it was a fun time.
It was a great time. Yes.
I'm glad we got to do this.
I wasn't too far off. I predicted 130. Here we are. Not bad.
Well, oh wow. Almost on the money.
Almost. I hate when I'm off.
If you had the under, you won all the money against Mike's bet. But it's been great hanging out, guys. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike, for all the actual legitimate, intelligent conversation about the hands.
No, it's been great. Thanks to everyone for joining us in the chat. All the viewers at home, we really appreciate you guys. Wow. So Sean Drake and Jashti ended up chopping it there for over $8,000 a piece. Mike Postel finished 3rd place and rode the short stack like a boss to a $4,300 payday, and that'll do it.
Yeah, congrats.
So congrats to everyone at the final table. Congrats to Mike and Jashti and Sean for finishing in the top 3. And this is Brent Harrington. I'm Michael LONCAR. Another great night of Stones Live in the wraps. We'll be back tomorrow night with cash games. Monday night, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Make sure to check us out right here on Twitch. I'll do. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for tuning in.